So much stuff. These chapters were
Come on, come in! Welcome, welcome.
Hold on, now we're good. It was muted. Now we're good. We're live. Virtual live. Not in our normal spot, but that's all right. This is kind of fun because you guys could actually, if you want, you could pull up the live stream and then you could actually watch the chat. So
Whoa,
you guys can have
that
fun
is
doing
cool.
this too. See if anybody says anything.
Oh man, I got a command center here with chat and my map of Lord of the Rings, my book. This is great.
I was so excited to be able to have my notes like fully out for this. Just have them ready to go.
Good.
This is the most notes I've taken, by the way.
There was so much dense information in these chapters, and they were long chapters. You didn't believe me, Lizzie, but the first chapter is the second longest chapter in the book.
You know what occurred to me? Because I popped in the live read today for a little bit. I realized that the long chapters go super slow for you and then probably faster for me because I get into it and I read faster.
What do you mean they go slow for me? I don't think they go slow for me.
Because when you get into it, you slow way down because you stop to talk all the time.
Yeah.
So it takes you like 5 hours. Meanwhile, I just speed up.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
I was like, I wonder if that has to do anything.
That's probably true. Danny, I read one chapter ahead because I had a cheat because I did it this morning. So I read The Siege of Gondor.
Nice.
And it took me maybe like 4 or 5 hours. I think it was like 4.5 hours to get through the entire chapter on a live read because it was so.
Oh my goodness.
It was an incredible chapter. It was so good.
That's great.
Crazy.
All right, hold on. Let me check real quick. Is anybody here watching? I only see Chatty Lumpkin. Is that all? Our mic working good? Because I don't know if the setup's good or whatever. Everything working. Yeah, a bit over 4 hours.
Chatty Lumpkin.
Wild. All right, beautiful. We got some people here. Mics are working good and everything? Everything good? Beautiful. Love it. What's up, guys? And let me know, too, if... what is the latency on this stream? Low. Okay, we're fine. Let me know if somebody needs to be turned up. I have Lizzie pretty much all the way up, and I think she's the lowest. But...
Yeah, I am. What's up, guys? I'll try to talk loud. But, like, I won't.
Lizzie is dying in a corner over there.
Yeah. It's been a rough week.
Alrighty. Well.
I'm in the chat, guys. Wow, this is crazy, actually.
You're so excited.
I can start shouting out people now.
Oh, that's where the
What's
chat
up,
is?
Nemo?
Man, I am a boomer. What in the world?
Get better. Thank you. I'm on
This is just going to be
now,
Lizzie
guys.
talking to chat the entire time. This entire
This
stream.
is where I thrive, guys. What's up, David? Welcome.
Greetings from Portugal. Bedtime.
Portugal.
I love it. It is probably late in Portugal right now.
Love it.
Ah, Chatty Lumpkin. First time listening to a stream. I love it. It's funny. There's a lot more people who have been jumping in just at random times, like the first time listening. Every once in a while, like a video on the channel does well, and then a bunch of new people jump in. Like this week, one video that I made like 4 months ago started doing well again, and then a bunch of new.
Oh, cool.
We got a bunch of new subscribers off that.
Chatty Lumpkin wins for the best name.
Yeah, that is a great name.
And I've
Agreed.
been calling things like I've been calling my dog a fatty lumpkin or like
That's
a
mean.
big squirrel. And I just say, oh, it's such a fatty lumpkin. And everyone thinks I'm the funniest person ever, and they have no idea what I'm quoting it from. And I'm just like
That is
continuing that.
great.
It's awesome.
That is amazing. All right. What did you guys think of these chapters?
Oh, this is how we're starting.
This is how we're starting. We're just jumping right in. Give me thoughts and feelings on this chapter. These chapters.
Do we all like Denethor?
Oh, what a question.
I was
You
excited
know what?
to ask
I
that
like him
question.
more than I thought I'd like him.
Ooh.
Okay.
But I also think he's eviler than I ever thought.
Really?
Wait, explain that. Why do you like him more
All
than
right,
you
so
thought?
the thing is, he's cooler than I think he should be. Because in the movies, he's not like cool. He feels like a little off and kind of weird and hunched over and grumpy. But the way he's being described as almost wizard-like, and he's like
Yes.
keen and kind of wise, I'm like, oh, I kind of respect that. So even if he's not a nice guy, I respect the wisdom or the stature of a wizard-esque person. So I don't know, whatever it was, I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. I all of a sudden respect him on some level. And I'll take that back if he does anything even more egregious later. I don't know. Lizzie, did you respect him at all or find him more appealing than the movies?
I felt like he was a very normal person, and I know that's a little crazy because he does seem really different in like his power, the way that he's able to like I think it was talking about bending people's wills or their thoughts or
Yes.
something.
Yep.
I was like, what is going on? I was so confused, and I was like, is he somehow magical, or like did he absorb magic from like the stones or something? But then I was really thinking about it, and I was just like, he's kind of just like the extroverts. Like when you talk to an extrovert and you meet an extrovert and you know that you like mean nothing to them and they're just playing you and they're just being overly nice and just like getting you to talk. That's what I was thinking that whole
What
conversation
kind of
with Pippen.
extroverts do you meet, Lizzie?
Oh, like I'm not. Let me not stereotype extroverts. Let me just say like bad people. We'll
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it. We'll separate the two.
For Lizzie,
But
extroverts equals bad people.
yeah, I'm the extrovert. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what I am anymore. But I was just thinking like he knows how to make people talk, I guess, and seem like charismatic in a way where he's trying. I think he's trying to like entice Pippin, and then Gandalf like knows what's happening, but he just sits back, and nothing crazy happens from that conversation. But then obviously Pippin is like, right, that's the right Hobbit.
Yeah.
Pippin gives it. Okay, he like ends up wanting to serve Denethor forever. But I was like, Gandalf is literally fine with it too. Like I don't know what Gandalf is thinking that whole time. But I didn't mind Denethor. I
Yeah.
felt like he was a little bit better, nicer.
So I want to talk about two things quick. The first is that Pippin was exhausted after the conversation that he had with Denethor. And Pippin's not an introvert, so like he shouldn't be exhausted. Pippin loves good company. So he went and he was talking to Baragond, and he's like, I need food because that conversation with Denethor was brutal. And Baragond is like, I understand what you're talking about. And then I want your understanding of this line, because this line is really throwing me off. And we'll talk about it more when we hit chapter 4 too, because I read ahead. So sorry, guys. But in my book, it's page 12. It's like a few pages into the chapter when he's talking, and he says, yet a halfling still, said Denethor grimly, and little love do I bear the name, since those accursed words came to trouble our counsels and drew away my son on the wild errand to his death. My Boromir, now we have need of you. Faramir should have gone in his stead. How do you guys
But is
understand
that
that
not
line?
true? Because like he had the dream, right?
Yes. But does Denethor really know that? Is Denethor saying that because he knows Faramir is the more noble son? Because Denethor himself doesn't believe that. Maybe he does. I don't know. That's just the rub for me. That was a line where I was like, oh, he's legitimately saying that he kind of, not that he wishes Faramir was dead, but is he saying that?
It kind of feels like he's saying that.
So I'm trying to
find it here.
It was interesting because when we were reading this, everyone, when we were talking and I was making some videos, people were like, oh, I can't wait for you to meet Denethor. He's going to be totally different from book to movie. And I thought he was going to be much more benevolent. I thought he was going to be a little bit like Theoden. And then when I finally met him, I hate to say, but I did not see that much of a difference between book and movie. And I could actually kind of sense why they made him a little mad in the movie rather than the book. So,
yeah, I'm really curious how they're going to play out some of his emotions in like how it is in the book compared to movie.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel that different. The sentiment behind it doesn't feel different. I think what I view him as just different, maybe
he's cooler.
Like character vibe.
Yeah, his aura is
he's
so
just
much
a little
cooler. Yeah. Because he's genuinely wiser. And like Pippen had the line where he was recognizing he was like of wizard stock, and he was like, he's almost of greater wizard stock than Gandalf, but he's like, he's old. He seemed older and wiser, but then Pippen's like, no, Gandalf is older and wiser. And they said like he said Gandalf had like his power veiled or something, so he actually understood that. But still, I thought Denethor. Now that I've been sitting on it for like 3 weeks, I think Denethor still is a very cool character, but I think he's a lot more complicated in the book than the movie. In the movie, he's just a madman, and in the book, he is legitimately a complicated person who's, granted, mourning the death of his son.
It like makes him a lot more likable.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you look at him in the movie, you're instantly, everything is like, no, don't talk to this man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just tell that he looks wrong.
Yeah.
And then everything he does is aligned with that. But then in the book, I feel like it's more easy to trust him based on his appearance. Like he's not doing anything to me that's like overtly evil or crazy. And the fact that he's so wise and like, oh, he's like, is he wiser than Gandalf?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't mind it. Also, hold on. I found a button on my microphone. If I do this, is this any better or worse? Is this better or worse?
No, that's much worse.
Okay.
Sounds
Can
quiet.
I do one more?
Yeah. Give us
Is
more.
this better or worse?
Yeah, that's better.
Is better?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Beautiful. Love that.
Resume.
Man, yeah. We'll talk about Denethor as we keep going on. There's so much with Denethor. But let's do this. Let's just start.
It feels like maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we'll start. We'll get to it later. No.
No. Give me it feels like maybe. I want to know what, and then we'll start it.
It just. I'm wondering, because they don't know Faramir. If they knew Faramir, maybe they would have taken that line about Faramir should have gone in his stead. That might have been harsher if they knew Faramir. But in the meantime, Pippin kind of doesn't know. Gandalf, I think, knows. But maybe he's thinking, oh, Faramir should have gone because he maybe would still be alive. You could read that line as a more positive somehow.
Yeah.
Instead of how we read it as like, I think he's wanting Faramir to be dead instead of Boromir. Because that feels a little more mean. Like Pippin's guard should have been up and not be like, oh yeah, loyalty from now on.
Yeah, agreed.
Great guy up here.
Agreed.
So anyway, red flag that I think was missed.
Yeah. But the whole first chapter makes him a lot more interesting than I think the movies really make him out to be. In the movies, he's just a madman. In the books, he's very complicated and very complex. And like you walk to him, and it is interesting because in the movies he's mourning Boromir, but like that almost passes quickly, and he just moves on to bigger, better things. In the books, it's like he tries to do that, but he's so stuck on the death of Boromir that like everything that he does is kind of tinged with grief to some extent. So it's a little. I think he's a bit more complicated in this whole scenario. But let's start it off. Welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
No Jen, but I'm Danny.
And Lizzie.
And this is the Fellowship of the First Time Readers. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Because there is a lot here. I don't want to miss anything, but What did you guys think of just the very very beginning of this, like the march up?
Well, the summary of the chapter.
Oh yes, thank you.
Pippin and Gandalf get to Minas Tirith. Pippin swears service to Denethor. They meet Baragond and his son Virgil, and they explore around. I should say Pippin explores. Gandalf is a Stormcrow again, and at the end of the chapter, when he tells Pippin,
Gandalf's a Stormcrow again.
the darkness has begun, and there is an ominous assignment from Denethor coming in the morning. So yeah, classic Stormcrow there.
Yeah, he is ever the bearer of bad
But
news.
really, most of the chapter was just Pippin. Yeah, he always is.
This was one of my favorite chapters, just for the side journeys that you got with Pippin. Like, just to see him hanging out with Baragond and Baragol at the end, like that was just, and seeing all the people pour into the city, that was really fun. It was a great chapter, but it's also so serious and so terrifying because like these clouds are coming over and the war is just about to start. So it's pretty terrifying. What did you guys think of the one of the first things that I thought was kind of cool was the beacons were already being lit as they were going into the city.
Very interesting. A cool movie touch.
Yeah.
We just watched that scene like 2 nights ago, and it's great in the movies. It just felt so casual now. And it was such an important part of the movies.
Yeah.
It almost felt like they kind of glossed over it, and it wasn't even as necessary as we see in 2 chapters because they sent messengers, and the messengers were the ones who really had the urgency.
Yeah.
So it's like all these dudes living on mountains for their one moment to shine, and
Yeah.
kind of doesn't matter that much.
I still love the movie scene so much because I think it's so cool. Like the music is great,
Yep.
and like the scene from Scene is so
So good.
But it wasn't even for Rohan. Like there was one on the edge of Rohan, but it was really just for the surrounding fiefs of Gondor. It was like for those cities, and so they pulled them in.
Oh, you know, I kind of missed that.
Yeah, it was there. It was just on the
Right,
mountains,
right.
essentially going up toward Rohan, and then the last one was on the border of Rohan, but it didn't go close to Edoras. It stopped pretty much halfway through Edoras. Now, in the book, there might be like an appendix that says, "Oh yeah, the beacons went all the way to Edoras," but we don't really see that for here. It's just essentially like the surrounding towns of Minas Tirith. And at the end of this chapter, that's why all those little people started coming, all those little cities. So I thought that was a good little
That makes
touch.
a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
That was cool. I like that. I like that they're like repairing the city walls too. They pretty much like have that under wrap there. And the whole layout of Minas Tirith is so different to me too. There's like an outside city wall that is like a lot larger that kind of like cuts in front of Osgiliath that they were repairing. And then there's like the whole Pelennor field. Like the whole thing is just so it's so different from book to movie too.
I'm glad you pointed
I
that
couldn't
out.
quite get a picture for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am very lost trying to picture all this.
Yeah. So someone actually sent
And
me a good
even
map.
in the
Hold on.
movie, I don't know like where's where in the
Nice.
movie,
Yeah.
and the book is not doing a better job for me either. I'm still geographically lost.
I can't pull up this because we're in Discord already, but let me try to pull it up on my phone because someone had a pretty cool. Actually, I don't know if I could find this map. I'll send it to you guys after. But it's essentially like Osgiliath is on the river, and that is the river cuts in between it, and then a little bit north in the river is another one. I forgot what the fortress was called. It was a really cool fortress, but the river goes around that fortress, and there's bridges onto this like little island in the middle of it, and then there is a massive wall, like a huge wall. This thing is like the Great Wall of Caer Andros. There's like this massive wall. It's like the Great Wall of Gondor, I guess, that goes around this. I don't know. I couldn't quite get the length and the size of it, but it seemed like a huge wall. That's what, when Gandalf rode into the city, he rode in through the north part of this wall. And that is when they stopped him. And Gandalf was like, "Oh, I think that's when he stopped him." And he's like, you better, or the repairs on this wall should have been done months ago. And they're like, "Oh, we're actually just finishing the repairs." That was this huge wall. And within that, there's still like, probably like 5 miles to go till you hit the city. So this wall goes massively around this place.
And then isn't there a little shelter in the rocks too? What's that one called? I know that's in the movie. There's a quick scene.
Minas Tirith.
There, I don't know. I hope it's not because
Hmm.
I know what Minas Tirith is, but I remember Googling it and it's like it's in the stone and it's in the movie and someone needs to help me out because I can't think of what it's called. But
Huh.
that was also throwing me off because I think that's where like the rest of the people went.
Hmm.
Um,
Are you
'Cause
thinking of Helm's Deep like
I don't
behind during that battle?
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm very confused about what's Gondor and what's Rohan and what's who's where
I mean,
and
that's
who's
fair.
talking.
And they also did kind of say there were paths, I think, behind Minas Tirith too, like up into the mountain maybe, or like something else
Hmm.
here. But I didn't get cave vibes yet.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Baragond
find it
says
when
that
we
in a
get to
really
it.
great line at the end. He's like, "Oh, there's still caves that everyone can get through, where the grass is still green." That was a really good line. But I don't think there's anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think you might be thinking of Helm's Deep when they go to the back of Helm's Deep, little
I'm gonna
cave
Google it.
system. Because I don't think there's anything. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in Minas Tirith that's like that. There probably is, but
Mm, I don't think it's Helm's Deep.
I don't know what you mean. Then
I'll
are you
find it.
talking about Osgiliath, the city on the river?
I don't I don't know. I don't know where I am in my mind. Don't worry about it. I'll find it and I'll circle
Yeah,
back.
let us know if you find it.
Mm.
I'm going through my search history trying to find it because I know I Googled it.
I love to. So one of my favorite parts is, or I'm gonna say that a lot because have a lot of a lot of favorite parts. But Pippin is asleep on Shadowfax, and um, Gandalf is riding, and then it says, "I will vouch for him before the seat of Denethor," because they won't let him pass through these gates. Said Gandalf. And as for valor, that cannot be computed by stature. He has passed through more battles and perils than you have in gold, though you be twice his height. And he comes now from the storming of Isengard, which we bear tidings. And great weariness is on him, or I would wake him. His name is Peregrine, a very valiant man. I love that in this chapter especially, even after Pippin like pledges his service, Gandalf isn't mad with him. He's like almost pleased with him. Gandalf's a lot more grandfatherly in this
Mm.
chapter than I think the movies kind of give him credit for. The movies, he's like hitting Pippin with this stick, and he's like, "Get up, you fool!" But in this first chapter, he's like very loving toward Pippin, which I actually think is great. Such a good change for him. Yeah, Lizzie.
And then I like that Pippin immediately goes against what Gandalf said, and he's
Yeah.
kind of like, "Indeed not. I'm a hobbit and no more valiant than I am a man."
But that's why we
So
love
I
Pippin
just
too,
think,
because he's like just humble about it.
yeah, and it's perfect. Breaks the tension. It's like playful.
Yeah, yeah, it is
Guys,
really
I'm
great.
thinking of the Dunharrow,
Yeah, that's what
which is
someone was
like
saying.
above the pass.
Oh.
That was in the
Yeah.
movies. That was still Rohan though. That was the Paths of the Dead. It leads to the Paths of the Dead. That was a great scene. That was like a great like place where they filmed that. And the
Yeah, that part threw me off too because I was trying to figure out. I was like, wait, Aragorn went which direction? And then I couldn't tell where he ended up. And then the next chapter, we were with Theoden and Mary, and I
yeah
was like, wait, are they in the same spot? And it kind of took me a second. And then I've never looked at the map with this in mind, since it wasn't even labeled on the map. But now I know where it was, and it's kind of making sense to see their path like south of the mountains after they go through,
mm,
which makes that road make a little bit more sense. And they're kind of blocking people from the south, so it was kind of cool. Now it's coming together a little more in my mind.
yeah yeah. I feel like for these chapters, you really have to pull out a map because he's like naming every little nook and cranny in here, and I think you get lost if you don't have it. I was a lot more lost in the Helm's Deep chapter than I was in this one. This one I felt like I had a grasp on because they literally just had a map in front of me, and I was just checking to see what everything was.
Hmm.
Um, I like Gandalf's warning here before they go into the see Denethor. Be careful of your words, Master Peregrine. There is no time for hobbit pertness. Theoden is a kindly old man. Denethor is of another sort. proud and subtle, a man of far greater lineage and power, though he is not called king. He says, but he will speak most to you and question you much, since you can tell him much of his son Boromir. He loved him greatly, too much perhaps, and the more so because they were unalike. Which, that's a really interesting characterization of Denethor too. He loved Boromir more because they were different from each other, which is really interesting, I think.
Yeah, that's not how I pictured it in the movies. I thought of them as being very similar on some level, even though I didn't think of them the same way. I thought at least Denethor thought of them as being similar. So that is interesting.
I feel like Merry did a very good job of minding his words and being well spoken.
Yeah, I thought he did great too.
I thought he was awesome. And I think other people commented on that too, that they were like, wow, the Hobbit folk speak so well. Or like, I think it was that other guy that he was talking to after on their lunch break. But yeah, I was like, let's go, Merry, because he's kind of goofy all the time. And I feel like he really knew not to mess up the situation and like not to speak about Aragorn. And I think he did a good job.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was very well composed. And even, I think Baragond was kind of talking about that, like how he was impressed with Pippin's just demeanor. Like, they called him, I like how he's walking through Minas Tirith and they were calling him the Prince of the Halflings or whatever they were. That was great.
But then
he's coming with 5,000 men.
Yeah.
Gandalf says that, like, oh, I know what you're doing because you're not asking me any questions and I'm like the wise one here. But could he have just like piped up and said something, or is that disrespect to the king?
Not the king.
Or could Gandalf...
Not the king.
Oh, the steward of whatever. My bad. Exactly. We don't claim you as the king. Could he have done something, or just mental magic and like started bending his will? You know, I was kind of like, Gandalf, why are you doing nothing? But I don't know what he could have done.
I felt oddly similar. I don't know what their beef was, so I was confused as to why, not necessarily Gandalf wasn't chiming in and talking, but I was kind of confused with, I guess, just like the little battle that they had, especially at the end of their conversation. We'll get there in a bit. But I don't know. I want to know like what their beef is and why Denethor doesn't trust or like Gandalf and why Gandalf is so opposed to Denethor. Like, I feel like there's a lot of history between the two that I just don't know of yet.
Yeah.
On the next page in my book, he's talking about hearing the horn blow, which is something we had kind of gotten from Faramir. So it's just that weird confirmation, but it feels like only he knew, Faramir knew, and maybe no one else. So I'm still trying to figure out what headcanon I'm creating about Denethor and his lineage and something elven or wherever this magic could come from. It just feels weird. And now that he can also bend people's minds or read their minds a little bit, it feels like not even people just in front of him. On some level, feels like even from a distance, kind of. But then again, they were calling Pippen a prince in like 3 hours of mystery. So maybe Denethor has just had stories grown about him. So I don't know. I go back and forth, but I'm starting to think of Denethor as being a little bit magical, like actually a little bit of a wizard.
Well, it's interesting too because there was something, I forgot where it was. I have it underlined somewhere, but I forgot what it was. They were talking about the difference between Faramir and Boromir, and it was like genetics. And I actually had a question with it that I was like, is Boromir a bastard son? But it's just like genetics, how genetics work. Because I think it was like Faramir and Denethor had more Númenórean blood than Boromir did. So I feel like some of the things that you're picking up on potentially are just the Númenórean blood that is within him. But as first time readers, we don't know what the heck Numenorians really are or like what they do. So it's cool to read that, and like they have like specific powers. I mean, like the Numenorians were the people that created the Palantir, and like they built Orthanc, like this city that seemed, or this like tower that seemed indestructible. I'm curious what technology they had and like how they were able to do this. It just seems interesting. But it was interesting too, because when we were reading that, I was trying to see how this fits in with your like theory on the horn too. That this is like the signal of the coming of the king. And maybe this is why Denethor is acting this way, because he's never heard this horn before. Maybe. I think he said it was in his possession before. But I don't know if he's actually ever heard it. So maybe he hears this. And because it's split in two, he's like terrified that this is the signal of the coming of the king. Like maybe off page somewhere in the Silmarillion, it's gonna say the blessing on this horn is that it will break in two when the king appears, and now it's broken in two or something like that. I don't think he would be that blatant in his prophecy, but I don't know. I think it's just cool.
But it's still like he confirms it's a pretty clean break, right in half, even though it's wrapped in silver, and the river brought it to him. And it still feels weird that it brought it to him, not his son to him. So it made me wonder if Faramir ever even mentioned what I think is a dream, but I'll admit there's still a decent chance that it was a reality, that Boromir was floating down the river. And Faramir, for some reason, didn't mention that, maybe, and just mentioned that the horn was found. So it feels strange.
Yeah. And then, like, just the battle that Gandalf and Denethor are having, too, just seems to be so strange in the midst of all this. Like, they're both almost wizardly. Like, you were mentioning this before, Danny, but, like, the idea that Pippin has of both of these characters, where... This is like a great little paragraph. It is much to me, but I know already sufficient of these deeds for my own counsel against the menace of the East. He turned his dark eyes on Gandalf, and now Pippin saw a likeness between the two, and he felt a strain between them, almost as if he saw a line of smoldering fire drawn from eye to eye. That might suddenly burst into flame. Denethor looked indeed much more like a great wizard than Gandalf did, more kingly, beautiful, and powerful, and older. Yet by a sense other than sight, Pippin perceived that the Gandalf had the greater power and the deeper wisdom and a majesty that was veiled, and he was older, far older. And then I like in this chapter too, or in this paragraph, that Pippin's mind literally just starts going off. He has ADD. He's like, I wonder how old Gandalf is and where he comes from and what he's doing here. And then he goes, no, I have to get back on point here. I thought that was great. But he's an interesting character. I still am very much on the fence with Denethor. I think he's like a little strange. He's a little icky to me. He's a little weird.
Agreed.
What else do you guys find in this chapter?
Right. Yeah. Well, here's something on the next page that is changing my view of Denethor a little bit.
Okay.
So they bring in the stools and all that, and Pippin sat down. Was it so, or had he only imagined it, that as he spoke of the stones, a sudden gleam of his eye had glanced upon Pippin's face? And I read that as Denethor is talking about the stones and then just looks subconsciously almost at Pippin because he knows more than was ever told about the stones or anything else. And I immediately assumed he has one of the stones. And the stone that he has is what is giving him all of this knowledge that people think he's hearing more about crazy things and he can see from far away and he knows what's coming. I think that's how he knows about a lot of these things. And then I am accidentally... Wait, am I combining the movie? I'm thinking when Pippin looked in the stone, he saw a lot of things and Sauron, and then he saw the white tree. Was that in the book? Because if it was in the book, then that would confirm there could be a stone right next to the white tree where Denethor is holding it, and that would be a perfect thing. But then it throws off because in the movie, Gandalf uses that as evidence that that's where Sauron's eye is headed. Yeah. So anyway, just throwing some thoughts out there. But my current thought is Denethor has a stone.
Interesting. That's really interesting you said that. I did show the tree in here, though. I don't know if that was in his vision. but the tree was just dead, which I was kind of shocked about. Because in the movies, it just hasn't
No
bloomed.
flowers yet.
Yeah, it's just like maybe it's gonna bloom again in the book, and it's gonna like get revitalized. I don't know what the word would be, but that's interesting. So one of my questions too is where are all the rest of the stones? There has to be a bunch scattered throughout the world that people don't know about, and one seems like it would be in Minas Tirith.
One certainly was. Well, because it said Numenor used to have all 7.
Yeah.
Right? Their little cell phones or whatever. And where would Numenor keep them? And wait, is this a dumb question? Did all the people from Numenor stay in Numenor and then come over to create Gondor together? Or was Gondor and Numenor, like, were they both occupied at the same time? Are they making little stone calls to each other across the ocean?
That is actually a really interesting question. I'm curious what people in chat say if they can help us out. My understanding of it is that Gondor is the weaker kingdom of Numenor. That they came over and Gondor was kind of started in Middle Earth because Numenor is like the little city in between the sea, or in the middle of the sea. And my guess is that they came over and Gondor was started as like the lesser, maybe like refugees of Numenor or something like that. And then they just started the kingdom of Gondor, and then the kingdom of Rohan, not really split off of that, but kind of. I think it's all, everyone's saying it's Silmarillion stuff, but I don't know.
Because I guess if 7 stones made it into this world that we know so far, Minas Tirith would have to have one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Minas Tirith, Osgiliath, Minas Morgul.
Yeah.
But do you need 3 so close? And then Isengard gets one. But wouldn't we have heard the guys in Rohan talk about it? Or Rivendell, would they give one to the elves?
I don't think they would give one to the elves. I think there is one up north there probably was one up north where the Barrow-wights were, because that was the old kingdom of men.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was a Numenorian city or not. I don't know if it said that, but everyone's like, that's far ahead. You'll get to it in the Silmarillion.
Oh, okay, nice.
In the Palantir chapter, though, like back when we read that, Gandalf is quoting this little poem rhyme thing about the stones, and then the last line is like, and the one white tree, and it's like there's something about the ships and the kings, and then the stars and one white tree. But I'm like, I wonder if he's thinking back towards the Palantir that he just found, and like Orthanc and all of that, or if he's kind of like on his way here thinking about the one white tree and is like, is this all connected? Because then they kind of talk about where it is, and like he explains that to Pippen. But I don't know, the tree is in that little poem thing, so it kind of made me think.
Nice.
That's a good catch, actually. I did not think the tree was going to be in there.
Yeah, great.
Lizzie, give us your botanist knowledge of trees. This tree is dead. Will it ever rebloom? Is the movie going to be far off on that?
It could maybe send out a little offshoot.
Yeah, a little shoot.
You know, and it could pop up like a foot later. I think our chances are low here.
No.
But isn't it not dead in the movie? It has like one single leaf hanging on, right?
I don't think it has one single leaf hanging on.
To be honest, yeah, I thought there was nothing on it in the movie. And I kind of thought of it as dead in the movie too.
Yeah.
But now I'm doubting it.
Well, I thought of it as dead in the movie, but Gandalf says the line that he's like, or Pippen asks, why do they guard it? And Gandalf's like, they guard it because they have hope. So I'm like, oh, it's dead, but it's like clinging onto life, and it just has to like rebloom again.
Okay, right.
But maybe it's gonna rebloom in a different way. Maybe a new tree's gonna grow there. I don't know.
Maybe it's dormant. It could be dormant.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Ah, there is some biological backing. Nice.
But everything that Denethor does is like, I just kind of get annoyed by him. Because I love Pippin so much, and Pippin was kind of annoyed by him. Like he says, when Pippin pledges himself, he goes, now tell me your tale, my liege, said Denethor, half kindly, half mockingly. For the words of one whom my son has so befriended will be welcome indeed. It says Pippin never forgot that hour in the great hall under the piercing eye of the Lord of Gondor, stabbed ever and anon by his shrewd questions. And he goes, all the while conscious of Gandalf at his side, watching and listening, and so Pippin felt, holding in check a rising wrath and impatience. When the hour was over and Denethor again rang the clock, Pippin felt worn out. It cannot be more than 9 o'clock, he thought. I could eat 3 breakfasts on end. That was great. Yeah. And then I love Gandalf's little mic drop moment at the end. So they have like a whole long conversation, and then Gandalf leaves and he goes, don't you know I'm a steward of the world? Or what does he say?
Oh yeah.
He goes,
And
where is it? Oh yeah. And for my part, I shall not wholly fail of my task, though Gondor should perish. If anything else pass through the night, and can still grow fair or bear fruit or flower again in days to come, for I also am a steward. Did you not know? And with that, he turned aside and strode from the hall with Pippin running at his side. That's great.
And it's a little bit of insight, I guess, into Gandalf. It's like kind of elevates him on some level. Where is his, if he's a steward of anything that grows or flowers or bears fruit or is beautiful. Like, is that the idea of this? Or the steward of anything good? It's a cool idea, and it's much more lofty than steward of just like a kingdom.
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
All right, now.
And then, next paragraph, one more Gandalf comment. Pippin is looking at him, and he kind of laughs in a way that he didn't expect. And he said, under all, there was a great joy, a fountain of mirth, enough to set a kingdom laughing were it to gush forth. I thought that was a beautiful way to describe some kind of inner joy,
Yeah.
deeper than just the situation, which is cool.
Yeah, it just makes me feel like Gandalf is just like he likes hobbits more than I think you kind of think. He's like just more of a jolly old man than anything else. And I love that depiction because in the movies he seems like a bit more grumpy, which he is grumpy in the books, but he's happier and grumpy mixed.
They essentially just went on a road trip together on horseback, and that's a bonding experience.
Yeah,
very true.
Sure. Bonding experience, and Gandalf's just annoyed with him at this point, but he's still not. Yep. He's like they're just bonded. They're having a good time.
He loves them. I feel like he loves him now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have like a special little bond together.
Yeah.
Now, what did you guys think of Baragond?
I like him. Wait, this is the guy who like gives him a tour, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's so great.
I like his son too.
Yeah, well, we'll get to his son, but I like that his son essentially just wanted to wrestle Pippin from the very beginning.
Yeah.
He was great.
I didn't know they had chess here, so I thought that was funny.
Wait.
I was like, oh, Middle-earth has chess.
I didn't even see that. They play chess?
The chessboard is
set.
set.
No, they didn't play it, but they were making some chess references.
Oh, that's interesting.
No need to brood on what tomorrow may bring, blah, blah, blah. The board is set. One piece I desire to find. The enemy has a move, so it's like this game metaphor. He's about to open the full game, and pawns are likely to see blah, blah, blah. So then I was like, oh, wow, pawns. I mean, this could be some game that is just Middle-earth. But then I think it was later in the chapter, they actually said, like, chessboard or chess game or something that was actually chess. Huh. I'm just scanning forward to see. But I was like, oh, it's not just a chess-like game. It is a game they call chess.
That's cool.
So
I love
apparently they do have chess.
Well, yeah, Alan Ortiz on the live stream says that they have golf in the in the Hobbits and too. I think it mentions that. Doesn't it mention that in Concerning Hobbits or something like that in the very beginning? I think like Frodo's great grandsire or something like that invented golf. That's cool. Chess exists in this world. Would never have thought.
Yep. So I don't see it, but if we come across it, somewhere around here, I think they said it.
Hobbits seem like they would play croquet.
Yeah. Oh, garden croquet. Yeah.
It's such a Hobbit game.
Or like bocce ball.
Yeah.
That's definitely their vibe. Something that I love about Baragond, and I don't know, I feel like this is a good indication of a character if I like a character or not, is how they treat animals. And I love that Baragond goes up to Shadowfax and is like amazed with this horse and is like just loves Shadowfax. I thought as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, I love Baragond. He's good. He's wise. He's a good character. He had my trust from that point.
Shadowfax is crazy. His neigh
Yeah.
shook the stable. I was like, let's go.
That's cool.
What is
That
this
was
thing?
crazy. I don't know. He's definitely not a normal horse. He was kind of not normal to me before, but now I'm like, is he even a horse? Is he pretending to be a horse?
Yeah.
What is he?
He's one of the Maras. I don't know what that means, but he's one of them.
He's an animag.
They had to cover their ears.
Yeah, and it's shaking the
Yeah.
stable. That was, I don't know what this
Crazy.
guy's doing.
And it's weird that no one really uses horses there too, except the messenger people. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, Gondor's not a horse civilization. Rohan is the horse civilization. Like they send their errand
then-
riders out.
They must be very centralized and just keep to themselves.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that. It seems like all the cities within Gondor are kind of, yeah, like Minas Tirith is almost a central location, or maybe not really. Osgiliath is the central location, but I guess Minas Tirith is kind of the central, and all these other like little kingdoms are around them. Because Prince Imrahil is from Dol Amroth, I thought, and they had like almost a pretty good civilization in Dol Amroth because he brought a lot of knights with him. And like a lot of warriors. He had the most. So I'm like, that city probably was doing pretty well. Yeah.
I'm looking at the map.
Yeah, me too.
It is so fun to just sit and pore over the map for the entire time.
I wanted to have more details, more things.
I know. I
want more
Yeah.
JRR drawing,
I know.
you know?
That's one thing I'm actually bummed about. The interactive map online, I feel like it's not detailed enough. I feel like I need a lot more. I think someone sent me a map in Discord. I'll actually find that and send it to you guys because it was a good map. But yeah. What else do you guys like in this section?
I underlined something else and said Denethor definitely has a stone. Something about the tower. Oh, they say he sits alone in his high chamber in the tower at night, bends his thought this way and that, and can read somewhat of the future, and that he will at times even search the mind of the enemy, wrestling with him. Again, this could be a crazy rumor, but I'm like, I like that he's using this for good.
Yeah.
And the fact that he hasn't been taken over or lost in this battle seems just crazy to me. So I'm just so intrigued.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that was like, what is he doing up there in his little tower?
How many stones are there?
7.
Okay.
So I think it. I don't know if I mentioned where the stones were. I feel like Gandalf may have mentioned where some of the stones were. But you have Orthanc.
They don't know where the Gondor ones went though, and that feels really close. Like you could probably grab that.
Well, I think there was a stone in Osgiliath. I'm pretty sure there was a stone in Osgiliath. I think there was a stone in Minas Ithil, which is Minas Morgul now. So though they don't know where those went. I guess at this point we don't know where the stone in Minas Tirith is, if it's still there. There was one in Minas Anor up north. I think there was one in Numenor. There was one at Orthanc. I think I'm just missing one. I don't know where the other...
How do you remember this? That's insane.
Because I'm just piecing it together based on what we know. I'm almost positive there was one in Osgiliath. I feel like they said that there was one in Osgiliath. I think they had mentioned that. But I can't remember.
And that could be the one that Sauron has now.
Yeah.
Or I guess he would have the Minas Morgul one too.
Yeah.
So we don't know about Osgiliath. That could be at the bottom of the river.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I don't know where the last one would be, but I don't know. I think, yeah, at this point, I feel like you have to kind of. I like your theory. I feel like it seems like he's up to some weird kind of dark magic up there. Either he has a Palantir or he's doing something really weird up there. Or he's like trying to craft his own Palantir, like Saruman was making his own ring. Maybe he's trying to make his own Palantir because he's a Numenorian and maybe he can do that or something like that. I don't know. But Denethor, he's like cool, but he's also doing some weird stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I can't tell yet.
Yeah.
But I want his stuff to be good stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I could root for him a little bit. So.
Yeah, and it talks about him like aging too. Like he looks so old. And I guess maybe that's attributed to looking into the stone too. Because in the next section, when Aragorn looks into his stone, he seems very old and very ancient, and like he comes back looking worn and haggard and like beat up. So maybe there has to be some kind of like connection with the two. I don't know.
So they have a Nazgul flyover. That's pretty intense.
Hold on. Do they? Or is this a vision?
I took that. Oh, interesting. I might have to reread for a second. I took it to mean that Pippen was sitting there and talking with Baragond.
Yeah.
And it literally flew over, but just very, very high. And then they heard the scream, the screech, the whatever. And I wrote that it was real and causes fear. So I interpreted the cry, faint, but heart-quelling, cruel and cold. I interpreted that, and at first I didn't know if it was real. But then Baragond said, "What was that? You also felt something?" So how could they both feel it? So the fact that he said you also felt something, I took that to mean, all right, this is real, and whatever the real thing was, I think has a magic power beyond just the natural scariness of a scream in a mysterious scream in the sky.
The only reason I would say it wouldn't be that is because they're the only two who seem to like have fear instilled in them, which it doesn't make much sense because why would like the Nazgul's not target firing these people, you know? Like that would be ridiculous. But maybe because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Baragond has heard this before, but Pippin's definitely heard it. So I was like, it would make sense that he would have this vision, but I don't know about Baragond. But yeah, I guess it is real. People are saying, Haley's saying it's a literal flyover, and you're right. So that's interesting. I don't know.
And it makes me wonder if these are the kind of flyovers they've been doing before to try and get some fear. You know, just I don't know, do a little raid of fear.
Yeah.
But this time they actually heard it specifically. But that'd be a curious way to mess with their minds.
I love their conversation that happens right after that too. Like they're both despairing, and then all of a sudden, Pippin's like, "No, my heart will not yet despair. Gandalf fell on his return and is with us. We may stand, if only on one leg, or at least be left still upon our knees." And then Baragond says at the very end, "Hope and memory shall live still in some hidden valley where the grass is green." It's just such a good line. It's so good.
This is great.
And I love that Baragond's just a normal dude too. He's not like a captain. He's not a commander. He's just a normal member of the third company of the Citadel. Just like a day in the life of an average soldier.
Great. And he just seems like wise, like a good guy. Well, even when he was talking about the hammer stroke will fall hardest here, I'm kind of like, that seems pretty insightful. Like he has a pretty broad understanding of movements and the enemy and strengths of men. And it feels like he's just kind of aware. He's not just floating along like, what are my orders? Like he seems intentional and thoughtful. So he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, agreed. I wrote an essay on that one too because I feel like this chapter was trying to compare his wisdom versus Denethor's wisdom, and it's like the wisdom of, I keep using this term, but it's not really, like wisdom of a simpleton versus the wisdom of someone who is like a politician. And I feel like as readers, you kind of come to recognize that I would much rather prefer to hang out with Baragond and have his wisdom than the wisdom of someone like Denethor, whose wisdom is like shrouded in like I don't know, like complexity. Like I feel like Denethor's wisdom.
Mm.
Denethor is undoubtedly like a wise. He knows some of the right moves to make, but he's just so confusing of a character at the same time. So. And then they go and I just still love this. Pippin's walking through the city because they have to like part ways, and then he comes to Baragol, and Baragol's like, "I want to fight you. I want to stand you on your head." And then my favorite line is this: "Maybe you could if I let you," said Pippin with a laugh, "and maybe I could do the same to you. We know some wrestling tricks in my little country, where let me tell you, I am considered uncommonly large and strong. And I've never allowed anyone to stand me on my head. So if it came to a trial and nothing else would serve, I might have to kill you." I love that. You like intimidates him here, but it's like all play. You definitely know that Pippin's doing this just for fun.
Yeah, yeah. At first, I was not reading it that way, so then it came off like weird. I was like, "Whoa, what in the world?" And then I reread it with a little more like
Yeah.
Pippin smirk and some fun. And I was like, "Oh, that's great."
Yeah. Yeah, Baragol's a great character though too. He like takes him through the city. They like watch the men pour in through the city. It was a great like end to the chapter. It's interesting too because I feel like the end of the chapter brings you a little bit of hope. You're watching these other people pour into the city, and even though it's like not that much, you still like Emerheel comes and everyone's like awed by this guy, and then all of a sudden the chapter ends and Gandalf's like, "The darkness has begun. There will be no dawn." And I feel like it just deflates all your hope again. You're like, "Oh crap, what the heck? I was just starting to get a little bit of hope, and now there's not going to be a dawn."
Yep. I like when what's the guy's name? I keep forgetting. Burgond. Um, he's describing Faramir, and he says, "Men are slow to believe that a captain can be wise and learned in the scrolls of lore and song as he is, and yet a man of hardiness, swift judgment in the field." So I think that's cool, just like the balance of like he's educated, he's book smart, but also street smart and a warrior. They kind of respect that. And then in the next paragraph after that is when they mention the chessboard. "A pawn," did Gandalf say? "Perhaps, but on the wrong chessboard." So there it is.
That's actually interesting. I wonder what Middle Earth
Also,
looks like.
yeah, sounds great. I just thought it was so funny that Virgil proved a good comrade, the best company. And I just thought like Merry and Pippin are on 10-year-old wavelength. Like that's just their sweet spot. They're like, we do really well with like 10-year-olds, just hanging out, having a good time, carefree. So I just think of them as little like 10-year-olds in adult bodies, just bouncing around the world, obviously with much more wisdom, but
Pippin especially, because Pippin's not even of age as a hobbit yet. He's still like,
Yep.
he's still, what does he have? I think 4 years left till he's of age. So he's essentially a 10-year-old as a hobbit.
That's a great point.
You guys have anything else in this chapter before we go into the next?
No, that was it.
All right. Chapter 2, The Passing of the Great Company. You got a summary, Denny?
I think I did. Wow, this chapter's long.
I know. These are long chapters.
Oh, wow, even my summary is long. We go back to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. They get help from some rangers, and the sons of Elrond come to join them. They go to Helm's Deep, I think, and Aragorn faces Sauron in the Palantir. Then he knows he must go to the army of the dead. They leave Theoden and go to Edoras to sleep and make Eowyn mad, and then they go to a creepy mountain road to get the dead and bring them to the Stone of Eric, where the dead silently agree to follow Aragorn to battle and fulfill their oath, I think.
Yeah,
So if I didn't have the
it was
movie
ambiguous at
guidance
the end,
here,
yeah.
I would have been a little bit lost, and I would be much more nervous about the situation that the chapter ended in, because it just was so creepy. And then even at the stone, it felt like they threw it out there, like, "Yeah, we're at this stone now, so here's the deal, right?" and then they just sleep there.
Yeah.
And there's silence, not even a whisper. And then in the morning, they just start traveling, and there's still nothing, but they know dead are following them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is not comforting.
Yeah.
It was better in the again, the movies where a king is agreeing and kind of saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, all
We
right,
fight."
fine, we'll do it.
Yeah.
At least do something." This was a weird one.
Yeah, it's actually interesting you mentioned that. Do you, because the Army of the Dead, and I think there's a little bit of controversy on this. I was talking about this in one of the videos, but do you actually think that they're visible or they're invisible?
Wow, I never even thought about it.
In the book,
Yeah,
I think they're invisible.
like they're not a green army. Maybe they're green.
I
I
later
certainly
on.
never heard anything about green. I didn't think of them as being invisible, but I did think of them as being spirits.
Yeah,
That's how I pictured it.
yeah.
But I don't think that was based on anything I read.
No, because I think you're right. I think that's exactly what they are. But when it seemed weird, because it seemed like maybe Aragorn was able to see them for a bit, and then all of a sudden they seemed to like like it wasn't as, I guess, tactile or
I thought
visual.
Legolas could see
Mm.
them more.
Yeah, I think Legolas can because apparently elves can see things that are immortal. So I don't know if Gimli could,
Uh,
but I think elves could. Like Frodo could
Okay.
because Frodo can see
I
the
see
true
shapes.
cuz
He goes, I see shapes of men and horses and pale banners like shreds of cloud and spears like winter thickets on a misty night. The dead are following. Yes, the dead ride behind. That's what Legolas said. So he can definitely see
oh,
them.
Legolas said, okay, so he
Yeah.
can definitely. I like that, like pale, but you can see all. Okay,
I think this
I
is
I
like the
pictured
book
everyone
so
seeing
much
that.
better than the movie scene. I
Really?
did not like this part of the movie. I feel like it was not that well done. But in the book, I think it's way creepier.
yeah, it's much
And I like
creepier.
that they're invisible.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of, is it what is the other type of Ent? Is that the Hurons or
Yeah, the
something?
Huorns.
Yeah, where they, like, you just zone out for a second and then all of a sudden you're inside forest.
That's
But,
true.
like,
Yeah.
they all,
Mm.
like, rush past you and, like, you can sense them. It was, like, that kind of thing where it's just, like, you're aware that they're there and, like, you can feel the presence.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I guess you just lay down and sleep and just you're cool with that. But
Mm. And all of a sudden you're just surrounded by the army of the dead.
I would not be sleeping.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
for
think I could
sure.
ever sleep in a place like that. That would be brutal, especially after you've summoned them and you're like, all right, well, good night, everyone. We'll travel in the morning. Don't think I could
Yeah.
sleep at all during that.
I mean, I guess he's the king, so he knows he's not gonna die, but
Yeah.
that's the whole lore of that place is that like if you go there, it's certain death,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
and to be honest, maybe I would be able to sleep because there's 30 Dunedain there, and they're the coolest freaking warriors
I
ever.
love the
I was
Dunedain.
going
Yes.
nuts when that happened.
So
cool.
cool.
So
That's
pumped.
awesome.
It was such a cool end, or such a cool middle when they just came. Whereas actually at the beginning when they're riding, and then all of a sudden there's riders behind us, and then I love it too because Merry was like ready to die for Theoden. He was like about to
Yes.
like take out his sword, or he took out a sword, and then all of a sudden he goes, Halbarad Dunedain, Ranger of the North I am. We seek Aragorn, son of Arathorn. And then Merry breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that this was some trick of Saruman's to waylay the king while he had only a few men about. But it seemed that there would be no need to die in Theoden's defense. Not yet, at any rate. He sheathed his sword. I love that Merry is just ready to die out here for Theoden. Such a great little character.
Mm.
Also, just the difference between how each hobbit serves their king and like their oaths are so different.
Hmm.
I just kept thinking about that. I think I was saying it wrong, but Pippin's with Denethor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Pippin has like all kinds of terms and conditions, I feel like, and it was just like a very weighty thing that he was serving. Or not the king, the steward.
Mm-hmm.
And then like with Theoden, he's like, okay, like you're my son now, you know, like I'm gonna like I don't know, that was such like an emotional like I'm doing this because I know it's meaningful to you type of thing in my mind. And I don't know, just the fact that they both did that out of their own wills and then they were just so different to me. I just kept thinking about that.
Mm.
Yeah, because when he takes his vow, it's just like, yeah, it's a lot more serious um than how Mary takes it. Mary takes it and he's just like, what is he? He just kneels and what does he even do?
Yeah. There's like barely any I don't know, it's a oath, I guess. There's
Yeah.
like not. And I thought Denethor felt very entitled to his servitude. You know, like he expected that to happen at the end of this whole conversation. Like he knew that that's where he was taking it. And then I think Theoden was more honored by the Hobbit's desire to serve him.
Yeah. Especially in the next chapter, because when they're riding together, it is, to me, I found it so cute. Was it in this chapter or the next one?
When they're riding next to each other on the road.
Yeah, they're riding next to each other on the road.
So cute.
It was so adorable. And then there's also the moment when they're about to have dinner and Theoden, while he's like about to make plans for battle and to ride to war, he's like, no, I want to talk to Mary and hear more about Hobbit culture. I'm like, what a great old man. Oh, it's so good. What else you guys got?
Do we know who summoned the Rangers? At the beginning, we didn't because they thought Aragorn might have. Oh yeah, because they genuinely thought they said we rode swiftly as we might when your summons came.
Mm-hmm.
But then Aragorn's like, no, it wasn't me. And I think it was assumed that it was Gandalf on some level. But then I just was left wondering, like, was this Arwen? Was it Elrond? No, because they thought it was Aragorn. So who would do it, and why were they doing it as Aragorn? If it was a good person, Gandalf or someone else, wouldn't they still just say, hey, this is Gandalf, this is Mithrandir, this is whatever they call him, go help Aragorn? Like, why do it as if it was Aragorn? Or could Aragorn have subconsciously done it? I don't know. I was confused. Like, who actually brought those Rangers there?
That's actually a great question because it would take them a long time to get there. I feel like that would be a month of travel, even on horseback, maybe more.
But I did not summon you, said Aragorn, save only in wish. My thoughts have often turned to you, and seldom more than tonight. Yet I have sent no word. So that just feels funny. And it kind of feels like it just like went away. Like, oh yeah, I just didn't. But like this was a major turning point. So then I'm just like thinking of like why, and is there would anyone evil have summoned them for nefarious purposes or anything? What else? Because it's not in the movie, so there's no context. So it's kind of fun to think it through. But the part that threw me off is that they thought it was Aragorn who did the summoning. So who's pretending to be Aragorn?
So they say,
I thought Galadriel summoned them.
yeah, well,
'Cause
I think it's,
are you
Oh, someone
talking
said that.
about-
Yeah, it could be Galadriel.
Yeah,
Wait, I gotta find where this is.
because doesn't
Yeah,
she
what does
give
it
him
say?
the gift of that staff thing with the
Yeah.
flag on it, and then she's like, "Here you go, elf friend, farewell." And I think Gimli and Legolas go back and forth, like talking about who they think it is,
yeah.
and then Legolas is like, "Yeah,
Oh.
Galadriel did it."
But I think that's Legolas's understanding. I don't know if that's like truly the understanding of what it might be. Maybe that's just Legolas taking a guess because it says, "But whence this message came, they are now in doubt. Gandalf sent it, I would guess." And that's Gimli saying this. "Nay, Galadriel," said Legolas. "Did she not speak through Gandalf of the ride of the great company from the north?" When did she do that?
So did the Rangers go to Galadriel on the way down here? Was that a stop on the way? And then Galadriel's like, oh, here, I got this thing
Maybe.
I've been making for a while for Aragorn. Bring this when you go.
I think when I was reading this chapter, I went back and I checked out the Galadriel section, I think because of this. I'm kind of forgetting that I did this. And I remember there was something in the thing that she sent or she said to Aragorn that it was like it's time to bring the Rangers from the north or something like that. I looked back and checked what it was, but I forgot what it is now.
That's helpful.
You
I'm sorry.
know what, Lizzie? Go back to being
I know
sick.
I said nothing for like the entire first chapter. So
Yeah.
I'm not one to take.
Now
Yeah,
you're
it's your
full of
turn,
opinions.
Lizzie. Say stuff.
I don't know. I'm watching the podcast. I'm a live audience.
I also
when
go ahead, Lizzie.
Go ahead.
Nope, yo.
No, what were you gonna say?
Yo.
Oh, I was gonna ask, when did his sword get reforged? And Elrond did that in the books too, or what?
The sword got reforged in Rivendell
It was
before
like-
they left.
Weirdly early.
Yeah.
Was that Elrond or that was
It was the smithies,
Glorfindel.
of
Oh.
Rivendell, I think. I think they just reforged the sword and they
Okay.
gave it to him before his journey started.
I thought so.
Yeah. So it's not like the movies where they come and they give him the sword here and it's like, you know, this big thing. The big thing that they give him is this gift of
banner.
Galadriel, this banner that that Arwen made for him, I guess. Which is kind of cute little gift. Hey, you're the king. You can summon the armies of the dead with this thing.
Yeah, I wonder what Arwen thinks.
I know. I am so curious to get more Arwen in this story. I am
man.
dying for more Arwen in this story.
Because, I mean, if she knows that that's where he's going,
Yeah.
there's still... I mean, well, maybe she knows that the chance of death is not as great for him, but he's still going to fight in a war, so... And she's trying to decide if she should live or not for him.
I kept comparing Arwen and Eowyn, even though we haven't had a lot of Eowyn or Arwen in this chapter. We have a lot of Eowyn, and like seeing what she
Yeah.
actually wants and desires. And my new theory is that she actually doesn't really have a crush. She just wants to be Aragorn. Not that she really even has a crush on him, because she essentially just wants to win renown. She just kept saying that. I was actually sick of her saying that. I was like, can you like
she
the
said it
guy
way
for
too
the
much.
guy, not for his renown and for his glory? Come on. But she kept saying that and harping on
Yeah,
that.
interesting.
And it made me think. I think I asked a question when I was reading this chapter of how old were Aragorn and Arwen when they met, because yes, he was like, you know, always destined to be king, but it'd be nice if Aragorn knew someone before he had like this whole thing heaped on his shoulders that he can, like, you know, fall in love with, and that person was faithful to him. And I think they met when they were like 20 or something like that, like 22, 23, when Aragorn was. So he's probably known Arwen for some 60 years almost, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I might be wrong on that. Because again, I don't know. None of us know. Did you guys catch this? This was kind of confusing to me, and we can kind of jump back into this, but did it say why Theoden took a different path than Aragorn? Because he took the mountain pass up to Dunharrow. Yeah, right? That's the right name. And then
No,
Aragorn took
think
like a
so.
straightaway path. Why did it? I forgot why, but did it say why
'Cause
Theoden
he was
took
trying to
that
like
path?
usurp the opposition. I think he had to get there first to stop the battle. I thought so.
What
Chat.
battle?
'Cause isn't there I don't know. See, this is when my lack of geography skills is gonna make this really difficult. But I thought that Aragorn needed to get to someplace first so that he could like beef up their army and help them win, because otherwise they're gonna die.
Mhm.
And then I think that army was gonna join like Theoden when he arrived.
He's talking about the army of the dead, though. That's why.
Yeah, but
So he's riding to this place.
taking them to fight with someone else.
Yeah. So
I don't-
people in the chat are saying that it's because they're taking the mountain path because they're hiding from the Nazgul, but Aragorn just has to get there faster because he's trying to intercept the Corsairs, I guess. But he has to get the army of the dead before that. That's why he's like talking about that. And that's what his path was for Galadriel too. Like Galadriel told him, I think that was the thing that Galadriel said. Like it's time to become a king, and it's time to like go down this path. And Aragorn doesn't seem like he wants to do it, to be honest, but he like knows that he needs to.
Yeah, he for sure does not want to go.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody would want to go do that. It was crazy. There's like a significant terror on that place. Their whole journey through that place was a lot scarier in the book than it was in the movie. But
yeah, Gimli, I love the way they wrote like Gimli's fear specifically being the back and just feeling like chased and like they're just biting at his ankles. Like he was trying to overtake the guy that had the torch. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
I just love that section.
Yeah, it was really good. Do you guys, okay, I had a random question that I don't know what, I keep getting hung up on the Palantir. Do you think that there's any connection? Does the Palantir, let me just ask this, how do you guys read the Palantir? Like when Aragorn is looking in this, is it just a communication device? Is there anything else attached to it?
I think of it as more. I don't really know what it does, but I think of it as communication and a little bit of control. And I'm applying some of what Galadriel said about the rings, where she said something like the power you have before or strength or something is enhanced, like kind of getting the idea that like if a strong person gets the ring becomes stronger, something along those lines. So I feel like the Palantir is similar, but the weird part is if multiple people have it, I get the feeling of like the strongest who is looking in the Palantir might have a little bit of control over the other people, but I'm just not sure about the details.
Yeah. What do you think, Lizzie?
I think
And that's just a feeling.
Well, is this the Ithel stone that he has? Which one does he have?
He has the Orthanc stone. The Ethel stone is literally like Stonehenge.
Like just a rock.
Yeah,
I couldn't quite picture it, but it seemed big.
A massive stone that just comes out of the ground. I think this is the place that they said they first like made land from Numenor.
Oh.
And they brought the stone with them because why not?
My understanding of the stones is that Sauron has control of the one that Saruman has. So then when because they're so frequently communicating and like Sauron's always spying on him and his tower and his orcs. So when Aragorn looks into what was Saruman's stone, he's like getting that like preset communication to just being inclined to Sauron. And then I think that's why he had to fight with Sauron, is because like it just like speed dialed to him. And he has to like actually fight with him and wrestle to get it off of that preset and like change the course and change it. So like that's to me how I read, oh, he's so tired and he struggled and he fought, like because he's literally battling with Sauron to overcome the darkness, and like basically possession. But yeah, I think he could probably break that from the stone since it's not in the tower anymore, but I think just because it was like the first glance that it was like still tapped into Sauron's power. And then I feel like there's all kinds of stuff like,
wait, first of all, Lizzie, hold on, are you reading the comments for how many people are praising your understanding of this right now? Because everyone's saying you nailed it.
Hey, let's go, guys, finally. I did something right. But yeah, and then I think the second layer that's like the real question is like, what does Sauron know now? Because he knows that
he's afraid.
Or no, he doesn't know that Aragorn is Aragorn.
Yeah.
AKA Isildur's heir, because he has like his armor on. But like he saw the hobbits and now he saw this. And like I'm still confused about the timelines lining up, and like this was yesterday, but it was like months ago in my life.
Well,
And
doesn't Aragorn? Yeah, it feels like months ago. Yeah, it is months
like,
ago.
I feel like this is a cumulative exam, and the professor's like, "Do you remember I taught you?" And you're like, "No, that was actually 3 months ago. I don't remember anything."
Thanks for your patience, Lizzie, in my slow reading of this. But
Okay. I enjoyed it. I am enjoying it.
doesn't Aragorn actually show himself? He takes
No,
off
but he's
Theoden's
in
armor. No, but he
armor.
takes off Theoden's armor and he shows himself.
Oh, I don't know.
I
Sounds like
thought
you know.
that's what I got.
But I thought it said like he wasn't able to understand like his disguise or something.
I think you're right. I remember there was something about disguise being guised here. But I thought that
Well, at the end, he does reveal who he is because he says, "Now, in the very hour of his great designs, the heir of Isildur and the sword are revealed. For I showed the blade reforged to him.
Yes.
He is not so mighty yet that he is above fear. Nay, doubt ever gnaws him." So, I that's also weird. I was like, doubt? I don't think of Sauron as doubting. That's like too much personality. I didn't picture him that way. But maybe at least at the end he revealed himself.
Oh yeah, and then it says he saw me, but in different guise than you see me now. So I think he put back on his armor. That's my understanding of that. And he's like ready to march, but he took off his disguise or his outfit, and he's like, "Sauron, here I am." And now he puts it back on.
I'm kind of wondering if Sauron thinks that Aragorn has the ring because it was like the Hobbit showed up in the stone, and he knows that the Hobbit had the ring initially, and then this guy is here now. So like he must have captured the Hobbit if they have the same access to the stone. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
But he knows Isildur's heir cannot be a good thing for him.
Yeah. And I think that's why he's
made him
fearing
nervous
too. Yeah, that's why doubt ever gnaws him because of that. And like I think he's like, oh crap, there's like a competitor here. And this also, Aragorn is so much cooler in the book than the movie. I love Viggo Mortensen. I think he's like the greatest actor ever. I think he's so cool. But this is like, Aragorn has power that is beyond. Like, it almost rivals Sauron's power. Like, how he's able to take this and wrestle it from Sauron's control. And he's like, how he now has the control over this Palantir is insane. And I love that Gandalf just gives him the Palantir too, the Palantir of Orthanc. I think that's incredible.
Guys, thanks for all the compliments in the chat.
Everyone is
like
saying.
I'm not even I didn't hear a word John said, but shout out to you guys.
Lizzie was just lavishing
Nice.
in the praise.
Lizzie's a
Yes.
smart cookie. Come on.
That's great.
Lizzie is perceptive. Sorry.
You can just keep reading. This will just be a secondary
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, so
Do you have any
Amazing.
questions about the stone, John? Now that I'm the what else can I
Yeah,
explain?
Lizzie is the professor of the stone.
The stone expert.
Because I keep making videos about how I'm so confused about the stone. And you just helped me there, Lizzie. So thank you. That was perfect.
What was confusing though?
I just kept thinking that there was something else evil attached to it. So I was thinking of Sauron on the other end, but one of my questions was, it feels weirdly like there's a bit of Horcrux. You know how the Horcruxes are like, you wear them and they just wear you down and they're evil? It felt like that to some extent because they were under Sauron's control. Because Aragorn comes off of this or he comes out of this Palantir discussion, and he like is kind of mean to Gimli.
You know what's a better Harry Potter thing for this?
Agreed.
Occlumency and legitimacy, I think, is the better.
Wow, everyone is going to be praising you right now
like
in the chat.
Because
just get ready, because I feel like that's a perfect analogy.
That's why Aragorn was like so exhausted, because you gotta work to like focus your brain, and you gotta work to not get sucked into Sauron.
That is actually, Lizzie, this is so helpful right now.
And then Sauron is just zapping straight in because he's a pro. You know?
Yeah.
There you go.
Because I was that one line where he goes, "You forget to whom you speak," said Aragorn sternly, and his eyes glinted. "What do you fear that I should say to him? Did I not openly proclaim my title before the doors of Edoras? Nay, Gimli." And then he talks in a softer voice. Lizzie is not going to pay attention to the rest of this because he's going to read chat. Everyone's going to praise you.
I don't often speak, but when I...
Yeah.
That's why you got to talk more, Lizzie. Come on.
I don't know.
Okay.
I like the amount of talk.
That helps me a ton understand this because I was really getting confused at that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Another thing that I was terrified of is the Army of the Dead. It says that they worship Sauron in the Dark Years. I want to know about the Dark Years. I want to know what they were doing worshiping Sauron. I want to know this whole story. And I guess people said that we're going to get some of it. I think in the Silmarillion or the appendices or something like that.
Dark Years.
But this makes them so much darker than they are in the book.
Yeah.
It a little bit bothered me that Aragorn was being so harsh towards Gimli because Gimli's like, basically, how'd you do? Are you feeling all right? And then he's like, what? You forget. And then by the end of that exact paragraph, he says the strength was enough. Barely.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, we all know that. That's why Gimli was checking in on you.
Yeah. Gimli's just trying to be his friend over here. I know. Yeah, that's why I was like, is there more evil in the Palantir than we know? Like, yes, he was just on the phone with Sauron, and that's like annoying, but still, it seemed like there was something deeper and darker there. But Lizzie cleared up my understanding of that.
Is some sort of intrinsic magic that it holds, though.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah, agreed. What else do you guys have?
To go back a little bit, Legolas is talking about at the beginning of the chapter, kind of talking to Gimli, like saying, "Who sent this word up to the Rangers?" Gimli says, "Why did we not wish for some of our own kinfolk, Legolas?" And then Legolas says, "I don't think any would come. They have no need to ride to war. War already marches on their own lands." So I'm just kind of curious because we don't hear a lot about the war up north. But it feels like there are other entire battles going on that we just never hear about at all. So maybe we'll get some more of that. But I thought that was intriguing because in my mind, from the movie perspective, everything is happening in this one place. But clearly that is not true. Another thing the Rangers brought up. Yeah, right. It's like there's a lot more going on. Whole stories to be told. And the Rangers mentioned that they've been guarding the Shire for a long time.
Which is sweet.
And I'm like, is that at Gandalf's instruction in recent times since the ring has been in the Shire? Is this way older than that, where they're like that protected tribe off the coast of India that like no one's allowed to touch because there's something so pure about the Shire and it's like so magical and like innocent that parts of the world protect them to keep it that way? I'm just curious. But either way, go Rangers. Way to protect the
They're
Shire.
so cool. This is like an elite fighting force right here. I love that their whole job was essentially just to protect the Shire, and they just such a good job of it that no one in the Shire felt like they were under distress. I'm curious what forces are trying to come against the Shire too. And I'm sure because Tom Bombadil's there, they don't really want to mess around that much with it. He's like to the forest, to the to the west or to the east of it. So I'm like, don't want to mess with Tom's land.
Oh yeah.
Because most people seem like they don't even know who the hobbits are, though.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, they're doing their job so well. It also feels really odd to me because, no one knows who a hobbit is. And is this why Gandalf was keeping them such a secret? Because he knew that this was the key to defeat Sauron.
Yeah, and then how far back does that go?
Yeah. Like, because I keep reading this and I keep seeing the Hobbit's power in this. Like, I think I would want to be a Hobbit more than anything else. I think they're resilient. I think they're so perceptive. Every line of like deep perception an analysis of a character in these 3 chapters comes from a Hobbit. I mean, we're only in Merry and Pippin's perspective, so I guess it just kind of makes sense. But we are from Aragorn's a little bit. But I feel like we are getting so much from like just raw perceptive ability from Merry and Pippin in these chapters. Like, I think they're incredible. And I just love it because they just seem so pure, and like this is what Middle Earth is about. It's about making dumb songs about food and ale and just like gardening, and that this is Eden, the Shire. This is what everyone is fighting for. This is what everyone wants to be. So this was like Gandalf's secret weapon.
So great. Someone in the chat is saying that they've been protecting the Shire for over 1,000 years, which is crazy, and that it's kind of their homeland. Like, I don't even think of it that way. Like, I think of the Rangers from the north because when we first found that Ranger vibe, they were in Bree. So I'm thinking of even farther north, but it's kind of like the whole land is traditionally like where they were. So that makes sense. But I don't really know where they hang out, like where they live. I forget all that stuff.
They're hiding.
I always got the vibe that they were like, just wandering up north. Like, I never knew what they were doing, but now it's kind of cool that that you learn that they're actually guarding.
I thought they were all off by themselves, kind of.
Yeah, me too.
Like, it was just like a one-off thing that, a ranger ended up in Bree. You know, like they're all just flying solo.
Yeah. Like, Rangers in my head. Have you guys ever watched like there was a show called The Last Alaskans? It was like, it's in this section of northern Alaska that is like only like 10 people live in this like 500-mile area or something crazy. I'm like, the Rangers are just that. They're just wandering. They're living in their little cabins. They're hunting cabins up north. But they're actually like really fighting, and they're actually doing a lot of work here, which is kind of cool. I got to make a video about that. What were the Rangers doing? They're protecting the Shire. I don't know. They're probably doing other stuff too. So I'll make a video about that when we're in the appendices, because I'm sure we'll get more in the appendices.
Playing chess.
Yeah, there you go. What do you guys think of Eowyn?
She's kind of like a whiny baby, you know? No, I liked her, but it just like in these chapters, I'm like, why are you going against Aragorn? She's like, I'm just gonna run off with you, right? And he's like, you literally promised to stay here with your people, so what do you even mean? And she's like, yeah, but I'm definitely gonna run off to battle, right? And she keeps like bringing it up and being grumpy about it, and I'm just like, what? Like, just do the one thing. It'd be fine if she felt trapped at home and she's got to like sit somewhere and be like, oh man, I don't feel like knitting anymore. But it's like, you actually have responsibilities. So how about just like fulfill your oath and do the thing you said you would do? So I hope that she wins me over at some point. But in this chapter, there were plenty of moments where I was just like, you're so annoying.
I could feel the steam coming off of Lizzie's image right now.
Oh my god. Guys, we're going to debate this until I have you on my side. Because
No, you're not. You don't have to debate me. Yeah. I think Eowyn is great. I'm not on Danny's side here.
I watched your video.
Lizzie, win me over. How is she cool?
Well, what don't you agree with my video about? Because now we're going to fight.
You said she would fall by the ring. And my first thought, I hadn't even read the chapters.
Wait, what did I say?
I'm watching your video and you say, she's like Boromir, the ring would have overtaken her. And I go, no, sir. She's sick of doing all the thankless jobs. And then I'm reading the chapter after that, and it literally says she's like, I get like overlooked, like everything I do here. I don't know. There's literally a quote where it's like sick of the thankless jobs. But my idea that I will present to you firstly is that why did my whole train of thought just left me?
It's probably not right. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I think she's not in love with Aragorn. I don't see that.
Yeah,
I don't see love.
I see that. I'm with you there.
Marriage not happening.
But
I think she going with the idea that she feels like she's in a cage. I think that door on her cage is closing. Like, she's at the crossroads where she could do something that has impact, that actually is meaningful in the world. She's watching that door close. It's gonna be locked from the outside, and she sees Aragorn as like the key to that cage. Like he can get her out. And I think she would do it by any means necessary if her dad was there. I mean, yeah, if her dad was there, she would ask him, her uncle, her brother. And Aragorn even says that later. He's like, I can't give you this permission. Like, you need to talk to your family about it. Because I had some weird section when I read that where I was like, this is like weirdly like paternal and not like romantic at all in the way that she's like, please give me permission to leave. And that's when Aragorn's like, I would need to talk to your family about that. Like, that's not a me issue. You have responsibility. But I think she's just trying to get like her cage unlocked, and she just needs, like, she doesn't have the ownership of her life to be able to do that for herself. So all she can do is ask.
Because I also think that she recognizes that Aragorn is probably maybe going to be king, and she realizes that this guy is maybe, again, what you said, the only guy that can kind of get me out of the cage. No other person can except for Theoden, and Theoden's not coming for a while, and Theoden wouldn't want her out of the cage because Theoden's essentially her uncle and making sure that she's safe. Like, Theoden is lovely. I love Theoden, but he doesn't do a good job of letting people fight their own battles. Like, he keeps Merry away, he keeps Eowyn away because he thinks that he's keeping them safe, but he's not really keeping them safe. He's keeping them cooped up in a cage where he thinks that they're safe, but they're not. But I'm with you. Like, if I was Eowyn or if I was Merry, I would be so mad that I'm not actually able to fight for people that I love. Even though I'm kind of with Dany too, I think that she's a bit whiny and she needs to understand duty because she has a huge duty thrust upon her in this moment. At the same time, everyone that she knows and that she loves is marching off to battle and is likely going to die in this battle. And she has to be left behind. And even though she's a gifted and able fighter, I would be going crazy if I were her. So I'm kind of with both of you a little bit.
The middle. I just think she's sick of her kingdom doing nothing for so long. She's watching her uncle be like possessed by Grima.
I don't agree with that. Happening. I think Rohan has been doing a lot.
I don't know, because I feel like she feels like nothing she does has impact in the world.
Well,
and I think she's been watching people sit on their butt, and then now she finally has a chance, and she watched Aragorn take everybody out of the stupor that they were in. So now she's running to Aragorn like, hey, take me too. Like, I want to get out of this too. And he like can't help her because that's not her job.
But here's my only qualm with that is I don't think she thinks what she's doing is of any value, but I think it has immense value. And I don't think she sees that, and I think she's blind to that because it's like just someone who has a duty thrust upon them that they don't want, that they're like, oh, I just want to go out and do this. And I think what she wants to do, and she keeps repeating this, is she keeps saying, I want to win renown. I want to go to glory with Aragorn. I think that's kind of what she wants, which is why I made such a Boromir comparison, because I think that's what Boromir really wanted. But I don't see her. I just see her as immature in this moment. She's one of the youngest characters that we've run into, except for Baragond, I think. And I think she just doesn't like. I think when she goes off to battle, she is going to be horrified by what she sees, and she's going to realize this isn't what she actually wants. But I'm with you. What she really wants is to be out of this cage, to be able to make her own decisions. And she's not able to do that, which I feel bad for her. But if you're in leadership like that, sometimes those things are thrust upon you. And it sucks that she was born a woman, because she would have been an insane warrior.
If she is horrified by what she sees, like, so be it. Her whole family's probably going to die. Everyone she loves is probably going to die. So why make her stay?
Agreed.
And then just have to live with all that grief.
Fully agreed. I'm with you. Danny's been quiet.
I think.
Yeah, Danny's got all kinds of.
She does love Aragorn.
Whoa! All right. What?
Well, no, I'm actually trying to see, because earlier I was trying to find the early parts where I liked her a little more, because she trembled at Aragorn's touch. And then she would say things like, I think there was some line somewhere where she mentioned love, and it was like one of those side glances quickly at Aragorn, and was like, so there are things like that. And then even here, when all these guys come in, she greets them all, and on Aragorn, most of all, her eyes rested. So it is possible that that just means she sees her chance at renown, and that's why she's excited to buy Aragorn. But I do feel like there's something deeper, even if she doesn't fully understand it herself. But I could understand by the end of this chapter that I was like, maybe she doesn't really care that much for Aragorn. But I'm still reading it as that's my natural instinct. But it does feel. Oh, wait. Okay. Only because they would not be parted from thee, because they love thee. So that's where she's saying, like, basically, yeah, they won't leave you because they love you. So get it? So it feels like even if she's saying that, is she manipulating him or does she believe it? I'm saying she believes it. I also love Aragorn's response to her annoying pestering. A time may come soon, he said, when none will return. Then there will be need of valor without renown, for none shall remember the deeds that are done in the last defense of your homes. Yet the deeds will not be less valiant because they are unpraised. So he's picking up on it. He knows, like, she wants renown, she wants praise for all of her great deeds. Fair enough, I guess. But it also is not. It's no less noble to just die in a way defending your home and have nobody know about it. But you know what? It was the next chapter that really got me. So I guess when we get there, but just like she feels like she's like getting worse and worse. I'm like, what are you doing?
I will say the one thing I want to be like I keep finding myself wanting to say like, oh, but she doesn't have the freedom of choice. But like neither do any of these guys either.
Yeah.
They're essentially drafted into this war.
Yeah.
So everybody is just taking what they're dealt.
Agreed. That's why I have sympathy for her, because I feel like she really feels like the most caged, because at the very least these other men are able to fight for themselves and for other people that they love. Like they feel like they're doing something. She is stuck in this place which if these other people die, then they're going to come for her and slaughter her, and she's just dead, and she really did nothing, to be completely honest. And so she's like, no, I want to go to battle, because she's good at fighting. She probably could be able at this, and I still just don't think she's fully understands duty, but at the same point I really sympathize with her, because I just feel bad that she just is cooped up and that she can't do anything. It's the same reason why I feel bad for Merry, because like he's not able to fight for those he loves. I think that's a great movie line too, like why can't Merry go and fight for those he loves? And yeah, I don't know. Mixed feelings.
I would hate
She fell on her knees begging.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah. Not ideal.
Well, yeah. So that was the section when that's like, this is when I realized to me that I don't think this is a crush anymore. I don't think it's love anymore. I think she had a crush, and I still think she might have a crush on Aragorn because he's like his aura and he's a cool looking dude. He's a good looking guy. But when she falls on her knees, that to me was like the indication that she actually doesn't love him. She just wants what he is going after, which I think a huge part of that is renown. She wants to be put in songs and tales, and she wants people to like say, like, look at, how great she was. To be honest, I don't actually think that's her full motivation, but at the moment,
I feel like
because she's young, I think she is that. Huh?
I think you're reading into that too much, where she wants like all the fame and the glory.
She said that maybe 5 or 6 times in this chapter, and I could find each of those times for you if you want.
Please do. Text them to me.
I will absolutely.
I don't know. It didn't read to me that way. And also, I don't know. I don't know how much to like defend her, but yeah, I feel like she's just trying any means necessary. Like, if she could get him to love her, okay, that's great. Then he'll let me go to battle.
Yeah.
And then if I can appeal to logic, hey, you're walking into straight death, into these caves. Like, that's not a good idea. If that works, that'd be great. And then, like, that's when she's like, no, but they love you. So she's, like, trying all these different measures, I feel, to try to, like, convince him to take her. But
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, she could just be young and dumb and like not know how to stand up for herself or communicate it the way that she needs to. Like she could just be a whiny girl.
Yeah.
But I don't want her to be that.
True. What pained Aragorn so much? I was trying to understand that.
Great
After
question.
she falls to her knees, it's like the people who knew him well and were near to him saw the pain that he bore. So it like that was powerful, and it's right after Gimli and Legolas both said about Eowyn that one so stern and proud it seemed more grievous that she was weeping. And then that pain. So is it the same pain from Legolas and Gimli? Just like it's hard to see tough people be emotional, or is it something deeper? Does he love her on some level? Or did he feel like he was in her shoes at some point where he wanted to go to battle or to war or to something, but he couldn't yet? And now he's like, I can't believe I'm doing the very thing I hated to someone else. If I were in her shoes, I would hate me for this. I guess I'm just trying to think of all the possibilities of what caused him so much pain.
That's a great question. I didn't know what
guess-
that was either. Initially, I was thinking like maybe this is PTSD because maybe he himself tried to like stiff arm Arwen, and he's having like a repeating thought of that, and he's like, oh, I miss her so much because maybe he doesn't know that she's actually like, I don't know, still in Middle Earth like the movies. But I think that's my movie knowledge clouding this a little bit too much. So I don't know. That's a scene that I didn't really understand or get at the moment. But I'm curious. We'll probably get more into that, I'm sure. But
Yeah, I feel like he just recognizes the desire to fight in her, and he almost wishes that he could allow that. Like he could allow her to fight. But I keep thinking this is such a determining, or this says so much about how much hope Aragorn has in this war. Because I keep thinking, who's gonna die? Who's gonna be left? And I think that has to be like Aragorn's thinking that too. Like, do we return? Do I take her? If we all die, it's like nobody's gonna know that I let her go anyway. Like, who's gonna even come back and be able to tell that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then she just goes, so I don't even know.
Let's touch on her in
Forget
the next chapter too, because she does pop up then. Anything else in this chapter before we go to last?
Oh, so Aragorn, when they're in the cave, they find the bones of Fancy Man, and then they say, Aragorn says, "Hither shall the flowers of Cimbermin." Cimbelmin. There we go. Cimbalmurna. That's not how that reads. So that he's saying this is a king, right? Because only the king, and then we kind of find out in the next chapter that it was the son
Baldur
of
or Brago. I forgot which one.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that that's what that means. So we're on the same page. We think that is the king. All right. Is there anything else?
That was a crazy section, even in the next chapter, how they got there. That was so creepy. That was like, I mean, I can't wait to talk about that. But yeah, the whole lead up to this, when they're going through like into these like caverns, and or not these caverns, but these cliffs, I guess, or this way, it was just super creepy. And I guess that they were saying that the Cimbalmurna doesn't. What did they say about the Cimbalmurna again? That it doesn't grow on the mound.
You mean like in the past? Because
Yeah.
I don't remember the past, but here it was just Aragorn saying, "Hither shall the flowers come never unto this world's end. 9 mounds and 7 there are now green with grass, and through all the long years he has lain at the door that he could not unlock. Whither does it lead? Why would he pass?
So I guess just his
None shall ever
his
know."
body isn't at rest in a mound in the ground.
So it's not where it belongs, where it would be. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
That's my guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think I even misread it. So he's saying they're never going to come here, and he's not where he belongs. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When they were leaving with the dead army kind of behind them, did the people of the towns think Aragorn was a dead king?
I think.
Am I reading that correct? I feel like all men fled before the face of Aragorn, and I'm like, these are not like evil men, right? These are good people that are just confused.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, so they're just, I mean, I'd probably be running too.
I kind of got that because they call him the King of the Dead, right? And I think
Yeah, somewhere it said that.
maybe,
So super.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they would mistake that. Maybe just because it's like hysteria, mass hysteria, and they're just terrified over what's going on here. But it was a weird section. But I love how it
Oh,
ends
on
too.
yourself.
Has anyone ever come out living from the other side?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess.
Not
Like,
in.
is that a good
No,
enough
I don't think
sign?
so.
Lizzie's giving us all
Oh
the
my
answers
god.
tonight.
I think that's it. That's all I had.
All right, the Muster of Rohan, Chapter 3. You got a summary?
Think so. Uh, Mary and all the Rohan people prepare for war. Gondor messengers come to ask for help, and with haste, and Rohan kind of quickly decides they will answer. Mary gets left behind, but then sneaks out with Durnhelm, a Rohan boy.
Okay, you put that in quotes. Is this Eowyn?
Mm-hmm.
How
I
sure
think
are
it.
you, Lizzie?
1000%.
What? What?
Danny, what do you think?
No, I mean, I'm just going off the
I think
movie.
so.
So
Yeah.
That would be such a departure from the movie, but also with such a setup from last chapter and her begging and like in my mind
Yeah.
being annoying about it all. Yeah, by the end I didn't think it was her at first. And I was
Same.
asking the same question that she asked. Yeah, where it's like, thank you indeed, said Mary. Thank you, sir. Though I do not know your name.
Yeah.
And the writer says, "Do you not?"
Yeah. You're
Like
like, I'm
that is the
Eowyn.
question. Like you
yeah.
wait, you really don't. Okay.
Eowyn's like, wait,
So
you don't recognize me?
like, are you that clueless?
Yeah.
I thought we were on the same page here.
And even how Tolkien
So
puts
I
in the
just thought
word
that was
sir. I don't
funny.
know if Mary has ever called anybody sir before, and all of a sudden he's just randomly calling this boy sir. You're like, oh,
Right,
okay,
right.
I'm a
Tolkien.
small man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not quite as tall as a normal man. You're a little bit skinnier. Are you a boy or are you a woman? Honestly, I will say too, if this is just a boy, it still would be kind of cool.
It would be cooler to me on some level.
Danny is
So
so
I
sick of
think it
Eowyn
is
right now.
cooler if it's her.
Yeah.
Um, but I just was excited because I literally thought, "Oh, cool! This is something new that's not from the movies. What's going on here?" And then I was like, "Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. All right, cool."
Yeah, this is a good question too. Alan's
Just
asking a good
Eowyn
question.
again.
If you didn't know the movies, would you have thought was Eowyn? I don't know. Would you even have that thought that it was Eowyn if you hadn't seen the movies?
I don't think I would have had that thought.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. I don't know if I would have.
Lizzie?
Okay, was this your big question though that you said like
Yeah.
if you have a question for us? Okay, I thought your question was gonna be, I was hoping, but did, oh no, now I'm gonna butcher it. Gandalf actually say, "Here's armor for Mary"?
Oh, well,
And
that
did
is
he
my big
actually
question.
prepare
That correlates to this because I think
Yeah,
Eowyn
like
is
did
lying
he
here,
actually? Me too.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
and that's
I don't
supporting
even know what you
my.
guys are talking about.
So, Eowyn is talking to Mary when they're dismissed from dinner, and she's like, "Aragorn bid me with his last or bid me to make sure you are well clad in armor, like you're ready to go for battle." But nowhere in the previous chapter does Aragorn say that. And my theory too is that it could never have popped up in normal conversation. Because as soon as Aragorn got there, they talked about Helm's Deep, and then as soon as Helm's Deep conversation was over, they launched into a whole discussion about where Aragorn was going. And I'm like, there's no natural place that it would have fallen in the conversation. So I think she totally lied about that, which is supporting my claim that I think Durnhelm is Eowyn, because I think that later she needs Pippen, or she needs Mary to be ready so that she can go take Mary and ride with him.
I like that she was thinking ahead.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That makes sense to me.
And it boosts her up a little bit in my standing. I'm like, that's actually a cool thing to do. I think that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, respect.
But Lizzie, you think that she's lying?
Yeah, I think she's lying. I don't think, if Aragorn didn't want her to go, I don't see why he would have wanted Mary to go. He's so tiny, and realistically, like, I think he's gonna get squashed pretty quick. But yeah, and I think she wanted a buddy, and I think she saw a little bit of herself in him and realized that they were in the same boat. And she was like, I think we're both on the same page that like we're willing to do this. And so she just decided to kind of take authority and just do it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Which
Yeah.
I think
Also,
it's great for her. I think this is a smart move.
her clear gray eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mary shivered, for it came suddenly to him that it was the face of one without hope who goes in search of death.
That is the coolest description. Again, these hobbits
Previously,
are so good.
when she was talking to Aragorn, her eyes were fire. And now they're this like gray thing of death. So she went all the way from like blazing eyes into just like totally ill. It's crazy.
Hearing you say it, I'm hearing it in a new way now. Okay. In search of death, like in a kind of brave way. Am I hearing that correctly?
I
read it
I don't
as
think it's a brave
the
way.
face of a coward. Okay, so maybe I'm just thinking, what is this face? Because that description, when I was reading it, is what convinced me this was not Eowyn.
Interesting.
Because I'm like, oh, without hope. Is she without hope? I don't think so.
that's what
she
this,
seems
this phrase
more
is what
hopeful
convinced
than
me that it
Aragorn.
was her.
I thought she'd
Wow,
given up
so
on all the
interesting.
people that
Yes.
she was kind of like hoping that they would help her. And like
Oh,
it's
so she
Yes.
her
had the
people
hope
that let
in
her down.
them.
So she
Yeah.
that's my reading too, I think, Lizzie,
Okay.
because I don't think she's hoping in these other people to save her. She's doing it herself. And I think she has a stony appearance because she's so like not jilted. Jilted's the wrong word, but like I don't know. Like battle ready is also the wrong word. I don't have the correct word here. I guess Tolkien has the word looking like you're going in search of death, which I guess because this guy hasn't rescued her out of the situation. She just feels caged. No one is really helping her out. She's like, I'm going to do this myself. And it's just a look of resolve. Like she's ready to do this and go.
Oh,
And like she's not afraid to die either in this. Because this is sad to say, but in her mind, what else does she have to live for right now?
Right.
She has a ton.
So she's been
all of us as
down.
readers know that she has so much to live for, that people love her, and that she will, if she ends up becoming like the queen of Rohan, will become an unbelievable queen. She's going to be great. But at the moment, she's like, I've lost everything. I have nothing to live for anymore. I'm going. That's why I was convinced after I read that line. I was like, oh, this is Eowyn. I thought that was the clincher for me.
But then it scares me a little bit
Nice.
that she is on this like fearless,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I don't know, rampage, and she's now like grabbing Mary in with that. I feel like it's a little reckless. Because if everybody protected her path, I feel like maybe she should protect Mary's path, but here I am switching sides, so we're not gonna go there. But you know what I mean? Like she's
Yes.
so on fire and like reckless right now for doing this that it's just making me a little nervous.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of with you on that too. I'm a little nervous for her, and I think one of the biggest reasons why I'm nervous for her is because I think she wants something that she really, in reality, doesn't want. There's a scene in All Quiet on the Western Front that I keep thinking with her, where it's like these boys in the Nazi youth army are so excited to go into fight, and they're gonna like fight for Germany, and they're so pumped. And then the next scene, it's like them 2 years into battle, and it's the same faces, and they're grim, and they look miserable because they've been in battle, and they realize how horrible this is. To me, this is to an extent, not fully, but something that Eowyn seems to want to go into battle for these specific reasons, that I think when she gets there, it's going to be very, very dangerous for her, that she's going to realize this isn't really what she wants. I think she's going to have to wisen up a lot after this.
Yeah, it's easy to glamorize and romanticize war.
Yeah. I mean, all
Or-
men do it when we read and watch this book anyway. I mean, every human, when we hear Theoden chanting death in the movie, we're all going, yeah. But in reality, we'd probably all be cowering in battle right now.
It's
This
like
is terrifying.
patriotism
Yeah.
is just like an unrealistic kind of view of it all, but
Yes.
I think that's where she's at.
Agreed. Agreed. You guys have what else do you guys have in this chapter?
I'm kind of going back to the beginning to see
Yeah.
if there's anything else. They're talking about the Nazgul flying over a little bit. And I missed earlier when you said that Aragorn took like a different way, like a mountain road to get here,
Mm.
and that's why it just wasn't quite clicking. And then I'm like, oh, they're in the same place. But it was cool hearing the description, just like again,
Yeah.
the movies kind of
Well,
reminded
no,
me of that.
Theoden took the mountain pass to get to this location. Aragorn took the straight
Oh,
way.
because this was the mountain
But now,
pass.
yeah, now Aragorn went before Theoden got there, and then he's taking the path through the mountains. I'll show you guys in the map after.
Yeah.
He's taking the path through the mountains to
So
the Rock of Erech to get the army of the dead, and then he's coming essentially around. I think he's almost coming to intercept the Corsairs and then go from the south up to Minas Tirith.
yeah, to come up to Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So Aragorn was going up this same zigzaggy path to get up to that flat spot that they're on,
Yes.
because that's where the road
Yeah.
through the
And
mountain
so
goes.
that's where
Okay, yeah,
that's where they meet in the previous chapter and have the conversation with Eowyn, and that's when she falls by her knees, and then Theoden comes like
yeah.
the next day.
You know, that was my problem. I pictured that whole thing with Eowyn at Edoras.
Yeah,
I think I
same,
just made
because
that
the
up while I was
movies.
reading. Okay, yeah, that was why.
Yeah, they don't go back to Edoras. That's why it's actually interesting. But when they go to Helm's
Yeah.
Deep, she actually gets sent there. I got the whole thing confused, and I think some people were helping me iron that one out.
Oh yeah, and wait, did Aragorn stop at Helm's Deep, and that's where he was up doing the whole Palantir thing?
That was Helm's Deep.
Because
Yeah,
I pictured that a tower at Helm's Deep.
yeah.
Okay, um, which is also funny because it means the map that I'm looking at with Aragorn's path misses that little
Oh,
thing.
really interesting. Yeah, because they come back from Isengard and they go to back to Helm's Deep. I think the Dornberg.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
and
mistaking that.
yeah, well, that's how I pictured it. But again, it could have been like something different, or maybe that was a name for an area over
Yeah.
here. Some of that stuff is a little intense. Oh, I see some notes here. Oh, because it said since Baldur, son of Brago, so I'm saying that must be the guy they
I
found.
like that the horse in the book was, or the horse in the movie was named Brago. That Aragorn tamed.
Mm,
That was kind of cute.
it's great. Um, so yet it is said in Harrowdale, said Eowyn in a low voice, that in the moonless nights, but little while ago, a great host in strange array passed by. Whence they came, none knew, but they went up the stony road and vanished into the hill, as if they went to keep a tryst.
Hmm.
So I'm like, wait, well, that wasn't Aragorn then. So who was that?
Wait, read that again.
So I was just so it's like right after the part with Brago and Baldur. They're kind of like talking about it.
Oh yeah, I see this.
Dead come seldom forth, and only at times great unquiet and coming death. Yet it said in Harrowdale, said Eowyn in a low voice, that in a moonless night, but little while ago, a great host in a strange array passed by.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
nobody even knew about it, just kind of happened quick. So then I'm just wondering who was that? And what it was just a random line like, hey, every once in a while there are little things around here. But that wasn't the dead, right?
I
So
think
who
it
was
might have
going
been. I
up to
actually
the
think
dead?
it was.
Oh, so that was like the
Like,
dead came out to do a little mischief,
yeah,
and
they're
then
just
they
like
were
making
heading
a quick
back.
appearance, and then they go back in.
That's it's wild.
Yeah, like little prairie dogs.
And that explains why there's a weird mystery here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's weird.
because I don't think it was the actual. It was the Grey Company. I think it had to have been the Army of the Dead, unless there was something else that was there. I don't really know what else would have been.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That makes sense if they're coming out and going. It's just funny that people saw them. Like, so they're visible. And
Yeah.
it wasn't Legolas who told the story, like in whatever this circumstance was. If it was the dead, they were seen.
And maybe this is a stretch. This is a huge stretch, but maybe they have a Palantir, not that they could use or see through, but maybe when Aragorn touched his, and contended with the mine, they saw Aragorn and they started to stir in their little area, and they quickly jumped out and they realized they can't, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe something like that happened. 100% that's doubtful. It probably isn't right, but you know what? Throw out some wild
But
theories.
anything could, anything could.
Yeah.
According to our reading so far, that is a valid thought. So Theoden said, "My heart tells me that I shall not see him again," talking about Aragorn.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to think of movie stuff, and I'm like, is his heart right? Like, oh no, I think his heart might be right, at least in the movies. But then I was like, wait, no, it isn't, because don't they see each other? But then I was like, maybe they don't. Anyway, so that was sad.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I want them to see each other.
And
So I hope his heart is wrong.
yeah.
Oh, I love a heart map, but
It is really sad to me that there's an Aragorn and Eomer connection that keeps happening. They're like, don't worry, we'll eventually meet on the battlefield. And they never really do, and they keep saying that. And they keep like having this little back and forth with each other. And I'm like, oh, this is sad too, that Theoden's like, I'm never gonna see him again. And then even Eowyn is like, there was a fey mood on him and he looked like he was going out to his death. One whom the dead call. You're like, oh dang. Kind of sad.
so sad.
The red arrow I thought was pretty cool in this chapter too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little like emergency button. I didn't have much else in this chapter. I there was a few like just lines that I liked. Like I really loved that Theoden in this moment. It says 2 swift hours passed, and now the king sat upon his white horse, glimmering in the half-light. Proud and tall he seemed, though the hair that flowed beneath his high helm was like snow, and many marveled at him and took heart to see him unbent and unafraid. Like I'm like the transformation that is going on in Theoden right now is, I just think it's fantastic. I love it. Like he is something that the people want to follow now. Not that he wasn't that, but like when Grima had his mind, I think he wasn't really able to do that. And then my final note in this one too is just Merry and his loyalty, where he's pissed. And I get this, and this is why I connect this with the Eowyn idea, because he's like, why did you receive me as a sword thane if not to stay by your side? And I would not have said it of me in song only that I was always left behind. And he goes, for your safekeeping. But before that, he's like, tie me to the back of a horse if you have to. He's like, I'm gonna run to battle if you like, release me. I love his just brazen bravery here, and he is to me such a similar character, which is why I like it that he's being put in this situation to Eowyn. They're both caged, but Eowyn, not that I have more sympathy with Eowyn, but like Eowyn has like lost and is about to lose almost everyone that she loves. Merry is the same situation because everyone's kind of going off to war. But I don't know. The situation with Eowyn in this one just is painful for me, which is why at the end of the chapter, I'm like, that is definitely Eowyn, and she's marching off disguised as a little boy.
I had that. I was holding that page because I was going to read literally the same part that you read. But
sorry, Lizzie.
Theoden's response to that hurt me so bad when I read that. I literally just wrote ouch next to it.
Yep.
I received you for your safekeeping, and also to do as I might bid. None of my riders can bear you as a burden. And then I feel like if I'm Merry, I just stop hearing everything he says after that. And it's just like, what are you, like, why are you dragging me along? Like, you're acting like I'm a kid, because he's like, he's not a kid.
I know.
And he's like fully a man, but he's tiny and he needs to be protected. Like, I don't know. It just, I was so mad. I was like, Theoden could have said that so much better, I feel like.
And I agree with you. I'm mad at Theoden here. It's like I understand what he's doing, but I'm also mad at him. I love him because sometimes he says all the right things. Like you could tell, like he's leading with kindness in his heart. You could tell he just doesn't want Merry to be in this situation, and it's good. But at the same time, he cannot make decisions for other people like this. He needs to let them make their own decisions. Same thing with Eowyn. He cannot make a decision for Eowyn. Although the thing with Eowyn, I think, is a bit different because she's kind of more bound by duty than Merry is. Merry should just be able to ride out whether he wants to or not. I kind of think the same
Yeah,
for
to
Eowyn,
take the
but
horse as long
Eowyn
as
has
it'll go.
Eowyn has more of a duty. I think that she has to adhere to.
Mm. And Merry was so respectful. Afterwards, he still bowed and went away unhappy.
I think that was a
was like,
salty
"Ah."
bow. I think.
Yeah, it must have been a salty bow. I'm surprised he didn't say anything worse.
Yeah, for sure.
I was surprised how quick they decided to go support Minas Tirith. I thought there'd be more sass there. Um, Again, maybe it's just a movie in my mind of like, where were they when we called for aid? And I was a little confused when Theoden said, "In the morning, counsels are best, and night changes many thoughts." And I was just thinking, well, like what? What is the night going to change? Does that mean he might not support Minas Tirith in the morning? So I was happy that he still did. And then they even got some more news.
Danny, I think in the first book, you pointed out a quote that was very similar to that, and it was like some things are best left for morning or something like that.
Yeah, I
And-
literally did.
yeah.
And I love these quotes. I'm like, yeah, that's why we always talk in the morning instead.
That's Danny's philosophy. He's like, yes, the Lord
Sleep
of the
on it,
Rings.
yeah.
I'm like,
backs it
Theoden
up.
agrees with me.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Great memory, Lizzie.
I love the one-liners.
Yeah, there's some great ones. I keep putting stars next to them, and by the end of this, I'm gonna have like 50. They're just so good.
I know there really are
I have
so
to
many good
send you
lines.
I have a list of them, Danny. I have to send it to you. And John.
For our Lord of the
John
Rings
has
tattoos.
asked for it, and I haven't sent it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just-
God. Yeah,
If you-
I
if
keep
you
thinking
don't
about
ask,
that.
you
What
get
Lord
it.
of the Rings tattoo am I gonna get? I feel like I should get a Harry Potter one and a Lord of the Rings one. I don't know what to get though.
There's some pretty cool
Great idea.
combos of Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings,
Ooh,
where
all in
they
one.
do like all three
Ooh.
combined. Super cool.
Kind of into that.
That is cool.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna get that white flower, whatever it's called.
Symbol
What is
murder?
that flower called?
white flower?
Yeah,
That
that's
thing I can't
that's what I
pronounce.
would get.
I kind of love that. I'm gonna look that up now.
Symbol
Symbol murder tattoo. I mean, I would love to have Anduril, but I feel like that's too typical. I feel like
Oh.
everyone who likes Lord of the Rings is Anduril.
Hang on after the podcast. I'll get my brother to show you his tattoo.
Ooh,
He said
yes.
to say hi to you because I'm in his room, but he went to play pickleball. He didn't want to join the
Oh.
club.
Oh,
Bummer.
sick.
But- Anyway, I didn't have really any more thoughts beside that.
yeah, that was all my
Um,
thoughts.
Yeah.
We'll plan
feel
tattoos. We'll plan
satisfied.
tattoos later.
The
Matching.
thing that stinks about this flower is the tattoos. They're not identifiable enough if they're not
Yeah.
tied into another Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah,
Mm.
I know.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people have
tough
it.
one,
Yeah, a
tough
lot of
one.
people have it wrapped around the sword, which is kind of cool, but that doesn't really make that much sense.
Yeah.
It's a Rohan thing. The sword is is a Gondor thing.
Mm.
But they,
True.
they make it look like the jewel with the vine growing out. I don't know if
Ooh.
you're looking at one.
Oh
that,
yeah,
but
I
you-
actually see that one right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of
super
cool. I could dig that.
I have a whole like Pinterest board of these
All right, send us
saved.
those. Send us
got you.
those and the quotes.
You
That'll be
want 'em?
good.
I would totally get Sauron's head, but I'm kind of like,
Sauron's head.
yeah, I'm like, why would I go for the bad guy? But
I mean, it's sweet.
yeah,
Uh,
that's a bold decision.
do you have Pinterest, Danny?
yeah, I made it one time. I think I still have it. I'll have to look. I just made like a motorcycle board and a wooden ship board, and I don't know if I went beyond
The
that.
most man Pinterest ever.
Yeah.
Well,
A
I think I like
motorcycle.
after 3 seconds on Pinterest, I'm just like, ugh, what am I doing here? What is this place?
Yeah.
And then I was like, there is some manly stuff. Let me find it. And then it was cool. I was like, it's all right. We can get decorative with our bathroom projects, and Jen sends me stuff.
There are some great ideas on there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Um,
But I might have to resurrect it.
do you guys have anything else in this chapter before we end?
No, that's
Nothing of
That's it.
importance. I just remember really liking the first few paragraphs, or like maybe the fourth and fifth paragraph. I'm not looking at it, but I just thought that was like beautiful writing with Mary, and I just
Mm.
love like the little dive into the chapter. I was like, I'm so excited to read this.
Yeah, he is an unbelievable writer. It is actually crazy how good of a writer he is. I just keep getting blown away by it.
Yes.
Um,
So good.
All right, walk me through favorite character in these 3 chapters. Who wins the hot tamale? And what's your favorite moment? This is hard because there's a lot of good stuff in these chapters.
Yeah.
Also, I think my neighbors are making pancakes right now because it smells incredible.
Mm.
I'm leaning towards earlier chapters
Mm-hmm.
just because there were a lot of, well, like the chapters ended, heavy hearts, hope waning in everyone's hearts. But at the beginning, I just really enjoyed that time with Pippen. What's the guy, the Bergerond, the
Baragond?
guy that he met, Aragorn. So he might be my favorite character. Only because he's unique, he was casual. It felt so real. That's what I liked about it. But it feels silly to make him my favorite character because he wasn't important enough on some level. But that's not nice. So I'm going to give him my favorite character because he just felt like a common man. And everyone else we seem to meet here is like the most special tree in the world or a king of some kingdom or, someone incredible. So it's just nice to meet a normal person with a family, just a dude. And then I'll give Pippin my hot tamale because he was trying to scare a 10-year-old. And
That's
favorite
a different
moment,
kind of tamale right there.
yeah, he was getting spicy. I will kill you. And then I don't know about favorite moment.
There's a lot of good ones.
Some of these Aragorn moments are so great. And Theoden's being heroic.
Yeah.
But I think I'll say favorite moment when Pippin and Gandalf were talking to Denethor. I was reading that like on the edge of my seat. Some of the other moments felt like they went by too quick, although I did love honorable mention. Sorry to steal all the moments. In the cave with the Army of the Dead when they first went in, it's creepy and Gimli's there. I was on the edge of my seat there. I like reading that stuff, so
What do you got, Lizzie?
I'll lock it in.
Okay, this is difficult.
I know.
I am thinking for favorite moment, either when, I don't know why, it just hit me when I was reading it, and it almost made me emotional for some reason when Aragorn got the gift of the banner, and she just was like, farewell, elf friend. And it just hit me, like something about that. It was just like a final goodbye type of moment, like wishing you well. That is my favorite moment. Or when Theoden is riding next to Mary on his little pony, and they're laughing and talking, and it's just cute. And like all the other army men are just like, wow, that's so cute, and they're laughing too. Favorite? Wait, what's next?
You did hot tamale. You did favorite moment.
Oh, I need a hot tamale. I need a hot tamale. Eowyn, guys.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Whatever.
Respect. Yeah, she is the proper hot tamale here. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. And favorite character, Aragorn.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I would say I'm gonna go a little bit different order. I would probably say Aragorn is my hot tamale because of how he treated Eowyn. It was kindly, it was well done, it was firm. And then also him just going to fetch the Army of the Dead was incredible. And he contends with Sauron. That's some hot tamale energy for me right there. My favorite character in this, I have to say I'm rekindling my love of someone I didn't even know I loved that much, which is Merry. One of my favorite lines of all time is in The Conspiracy Unmasked when he's like, we're coming with you and we're terribly afraid, but we're coming with you, Frodo. And I didn't really realize how profound Merry is until this other chapter because we're not really in his perspective that much. So I think I'm having like a rekindling of love of Merry and all of like his incredible lines and just his like strength and fortitude. And then I think my favorite moment is the moment with Pippen and Baragond just chilling in the city and just like talking about how they're not going to despair and they're going to have hope still, and this is the place to fight. There's just something about that conversation really just stuck with me, and I think it was so perfect. So that's probably my favorite moment. But this one's hard. I love when the whole Dunedain Rangers came. That was a sweet moment. So unexpected too. I did not know what was coming there. It was so cool.
Yeah.
But there's so many good moments in these ones. That when they're riding out the army of the dead, that was a cool one too. But I'm gonna give it to Baragond and Pippin just having lunch on top of Minas Tirith, a wall of Minas Tirith. So that's all we got. Thanks for joining us on this journey of the Fellowship of the First Time Readers.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Until next time.
Fun reading the chat.
I know, seriously.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, that's all we got, guys. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time, probably in like a week or so. Because I have already read chapter 4, which is another long chapter.
That means I can start reading right
you
now.
can literally start reading right now. So next week,
what are we gonna do for next time?
We'll do 2 chapters. Apparently, the next 2 chapters are a good combination. That's what I've heard. So the Siege of Gondor, and then
Excellent.
the Ride of the Rohirrim. The Ride of the Rohirrim chapter isn't crazy long, so I'm guessing maybe 2, or I don't know. What do people in chat think? Should we do 2?
People in chat think I have many huge W takes.
Yeah, I know. Everyone, dude, you are winning right now.
Guys, shout out to the chat. Now that I can see you
They're called
tonight.
Lizzie
Thanks,
Hassel,
guys.
the Lore
Yeah.
Master. 5 and 6 go well together. So we'll do
Dennis,
4,
thank
5, and 6 for our next one. So maybe we'll meet in 2 weeks and discuss that.
Yeah, or we just read quick and we make it next week.
I'm actually down with that if you guys want
Tomorrow.
to do that. I'm just gonna have to catch up on essays, but that's fine with me.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's the hardest part.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'll just crank them out in the next week. Just write a ton. I have like 10 that I want to do for the Siege of Gondor because that chapter is packed with stuff. So
That's great.
we'll plan. Well, yeah, we'll try to tentatively plan for maybe next week, but we'll see.
Wednesday.
I'll let you guys know.
I think I'm leaving on Thursday, so
Okay.
No.
We'll figure it out. I'll text you guys.
Not allowed, Liz.
We'll go from there.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty available. Let's do it.
All right, sweet. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining.
And Lizzie, are we seeing this tattoo now?
Ooh, yes.
are we what? What'd you say?
I'm gonna end
I
this.
thought you were
stream
seeing your
and
brother's
We're gonna
tattoo.
look at this tattoo.
Oh, I gotta find him. I'll be right back.
All right, deal.
All right, nice.
Everyone on stream, thanks for joining. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.